don't need a cape just to help someone win. Do something simple, do something true, or make a sandwich for a friend, hold the door for someone too. Facts still matter, it starts with you. Check on your neighbor, share what you can do. One small action turns into a wave. Do something today, be the change that you crave. Facts still matter, it starts with you. Facts still matter, it starts with you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We know you've got many choices to make every single day, and we are always grateful that you choose to spend some time with us. So thank you for being here. You know the drill. Tapping is clapping, and liking is loving, and sharing is caring. Please, 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 please help us get to the IFYP. Consider joining our team. Also, consider contributing to the gifting goal today. That helps us remain relevant. I want to thank a couple of people who donated yesterday to help us get past $16,606. Amy, for your $250 contribution. That was incredibly kind of you. We are still funding for the Do Something Tour, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All donations are never expected, but always appreciated. Just to take a brief moment, to mention that we are still in search of a keynote or like a premier sponsor for our tour. If you have a brand that you would like to affiliate with our movement, we'd love to talk. And in fact, if it's the right relationship, it could be the Do Something Tour sponsored by X, whatever X might be. So you can reach out to me directly either through TikTok or you can direct message me in Discord, or you can email me at steve@dosomethingtour.com. Again, that's steve@dosomethingtour.com. Would love to talk to you. We are looking for, again, keynote sponsors. I guess you could call it like a keynote sponsor or a premier sponsor. If you have access to, or if your company does, I don't know, Sprinter van conversions or RVs or whatever that might be, that's going to be the biggest chunk of our cost would be transportation. So if you'd like to, maybe your Do Something is donating a vehicle for our journey as we travel to as many states as possible as part of our Do Something Tour. This is going to be my job for 2 months. I'll be out on the road starting in September and then leading right on up into Election Day. So it's got to be something that's comfortable, need a little bit of room, needs to make sure I can make coffee there. Unlike this morning where I burned myself making coffee, but it is what it is. So yeah, so think about that. That might be something you can do. Also, we are on the lookout for a video. We'd like to make a commercial, a promo video for the tour. And we're also in need of a photographer. So if you live within, say, 3 hours or 4 hours of the land that does not exist, I'd be happy to meet you. If you want to do, we're going to do a little photo shoot and help us produce a commercial. We would love to do that. So the pieces are coming together. I'll probably remind folks later today. But again, if you have any questions or if you'd like to get involved, steve@dosomethingtour.com. Thank you very much. Speaking of getting involved, you can head on over to the link tree that's in my bio and join our Discord. The link is there. If for some reason it does not work, please reach out to one of our amazing moderators. They can help you out. Or you can just copy the link and post it into a browser. We'd appreciate that. Any and all items in the merch store this month, all the proceeds go to support an organization called Outright Vermont. They help support queer youth in our state. They've done a lot of great things, and I did some work for them a few years back. It's an amazing organization. I'm proudly affiliated with them. So again, any and all proceeds from any item sold in the merch store this month, all proceeds will go to that organization. So thank you for that. I think that about covers it. We have a lot to get to today. Programming note, I'm not going to do a show tomorrow. I've decided to, if last week wasn't as crazy, I probably would have planned ahead more in celebration of Juneteenth by reaching out to Black content creators that I respect and basically turn over the keys to those amazing individuals. Instead, what I will do is we'll talk about it later today. We'll probably spend a good chunk of our show today discussing the history of Juneteenth. And I want to shout out to my friend Nichelle. She and I had a good conversation yesterday about this, and she'll probably join to share some insight. I learned something yesterday, like we always say. sit and listen to black women in particular, and you'll learn a lot. So we will discuss that a little bit later. But tomorrow I won't do a show. Instead, I'll probably do a promotional video on the topic, and I'll encourage you to follow some great black content creators. And when you go to their spaces, just sit and listen. So there's that. So again, no show tomorrow, no Facts After Dark tomorrow night. My daughter's got a gig, her final gig. Her band will be breaking up. You know, it's not a Yoko Ono kind of moment. Everybody's just going their separate ways, and she's been battling strep. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. Anyway, everybody, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I guess we probably should start as a reminder. It is the 180th day of the Trump administration denying the law by not releasing everything connected to the Trump files. More and more information comes out every single day. Little dribs and drabs. We will continue to cover this story until someone is held accountable. But I think the news of the day is the 14-point agreement of the Memorandum of Understanding. In case you don't know, our president has surrendered. And the wild part about this entire thing is that the defense from his supporters is wild, because they're saying, well, it's another war that he ended. It's a war that he started. Look at gas prices coming down, gas prices that he inflated. So it's one thing after another. And the biggest thing that's really triggering him the most, quite frankly, is that are people saying this is a significantly worse deal than President Obama signed. And anything that our president can do, our current president, anytime he takes a hit from people who try to say that, you know, what he's done is worse than Obama, he loses his shit. So I'm going to play a little bit of sound from yesterday's presser because they're just a couple of wild moments. We're going to build the case here.
Remember that.
We're going to build a case here because one of the biggest things that we heard for years was the $1.7 billion that was released as part of the original JCPOA. The assets were frozen Iranian assets that were held in, I think it was a combination of South Korean and Qatari banks. It was very specific as to what those monies could go for. It wasn't loaded on a plane in the dark of night and flown on a 737 across the ocean. It was regulated money. They could only use it for certain things. Thank you, Johnny Utah. That's so sweet. Look at Johnny Utah. Johnny Utah thinks he's clever. Look at so early in the morning, and Johnny Utah thinks he's clever. Chat, Johnny Utah. Johnny Utah, say hello to the chat. You know what to do. Anyway. That's the biggest hang up, right? For years, that's all we heard was billions and billions of dollars. It was $1.7 billion. It was part of the original JCPOA. That was working. And now we're talking upwards of $25 billion of frozen assets. Similar process. Release the assets that were theirs, that were frozen through sanctions. And now this $300 billion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a couple of sound bites just so we can level set, and then I'm just going to read to you the 14 points. We'll go through it. And you guys know me. I try to be objective with these things, but I've read it a few times, and I do not see anything positive for the United States other than the fact that hopefully no more loss of life. 13 service members lost their life. You know, we've seen a crippling of your economy. Gas prices are coming down. They're $3.99 this morning. Of course, the Trump administration is going to take credit for that. Sure they are. They're the ones that caused him to go up to $4.56 at the high point nationally. And they're going to drop, and they're going to take credit for that. So the poison and the pill. I ended the war. You started the war. I lowered gas prices. You caused gas prices to go up. So that's what we're going to listen to over the next few days. And you watch where some of the conservative spaces are, the right-wing spaces. I already saw one this morning. Trump ends the war. Celebrate. Something to that effect. Okay. Anyway, so let's go. I want to go back in time a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the Fed's decision yesterday to not lower rates. And now the president's got a different tune when it was Jerome Powell. First of all, Jerome Powell was handpicked by Trump during his first administration to be the Fed chair. Criticism. We know that. So I want to start with J.D. Vance when he was doing his little media tour. He was on CBS talking about this $300 billion. It's important that we level set here just because I want to visit this and then go back and then read you through the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding.
The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media, they're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
Is it? Is that really important, JD? Well, that's interesting considering here's another example of you sort of doing the same thing. This time you're in your safe space with Sean Hannity. Good luck. Good luck trying to explain this.
They're agreeing right now to eliminate the enriched stockpile. And if they don't get to a point where they agree to stop enriching, then they don't get the other benefits of the bargain. And that's the way this is set up, is a lot of the technical details we're going to figure out over the next month, over the next 2 months. But the basic structure is they can get a lot if they comply with the United States demands. They don't get anything if they don't comply with anything.
Okay. That's all well and good. Here's the president. He's been getting panned across the globe for the statements that he made during that presser. We'll play some highlights. So I'm building the case here. So JD Vance said, listen, they're not going to get anything unless they do what we tell them. Okay. And then he doubled down on Sean Hannity. This is the president yesterday.
Money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something or if somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran.
Okay, no obligation to invest any money, money in Iran. Okay, and then here's one more time with JD Vance talking about the same thing, the $300 billion.
The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to.
Okay. So I think we've sort of level set there. So I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to read you guys the 14 points. I think it's the easiest way to address it. Before I do that, I'm just going to play you sound from the early days of the war about what the president had to say specifically as to why we were there. Here we go.
As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, please, sir, please finish the job, every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast.
Okay. And then 38 separate times he said that it was going to come to an end. 10 days, 2 weeks, tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we all know this, right? We've been talking about this from the beginning. Shifty Lincoln, thank you for the $25 on YouTube as a super chat. Hey, MAGA, how do you feel about the fact that this is the biggest blunder since the Vietnam War and likely costed us just as much in a matter of months that a 13-year war did? I think that's pretty accurate. So now that we've set the table, the $300 billion, the $25 billion, and their nuclear program, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just going to read to you guys the 14-point plan. I think that's the easiest way for us to kind of go through it. So let me see if I can pull it up here. I thought I had it somewhere. Hold on. All right. This was the MOU that was signed yesterday. And here's some irony for you. It was signed in the Palace of Versailles. Now, there is a couple of notable, I guess you could say, surrenders in the Palace of Versailles, including the Treaty of Versailles, where Germany accepted the peace terms following World War I, and then the Treaties of Versailles, where agreements between Britain, France, and Spain that accompanied the better-known Treaty of Paris. And then in 1871, during the Siege of Paris, during the Franco-Prussian War, the French government agreed to an armistice after the fall of Paris. The preliminary peace negotiations took place at the Palace of Versailles, which had become headquarters of Otto von Bismarck and the German leadership. The armistice ended major fighting and was signed at the Versailles Palace on January 28th, 1871. How ironic. History, chef's kiss. All right, so let's go to here's the memorandum of understanding. It's 14 points. I'm just going to read it to you, and we'll go through it, right? And we'll make some comparisons to what the United States got out of this when we compare it to what the JCPOA was, all right? The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, ironically enough, even in the MOU, it's referred to as a war. Oh, and by the way, the Department of War, they changed the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and in the first war we're in, we lose. Okay, anyway. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this MOU, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Bibi does not agree. And undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon and other provisions of this paragraph. So MAGA, Trump supporters, this is now a signed document that references war at least 3 times. So you can stop now saying that this was not a war, because it always has been a war. And now you're going to say the president signing a document that references war is not a war? Okay. Point number 2. The United States, here, you know what? I just realized this. 14-point draft agreement. The tenets of fascism have 14 points. Maybe that's just a coincidence. Maybe that's just how my brain works. Anywho, number 2, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and to refrain from interfering in each other's internal affairs. Okay. Number 3, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum 60 days, extendable with mutual consent. Okay. Number 4, immediately upon the signing of this MOU, the U.S. will begin removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. Okay. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the numbers of pre-war traffic restored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of the of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. Keep in mind, the strait was open prior to this happening. Okay? We put the blockade in after they put their own blockade in, so it's a blockade for the blockade, we go and leave with our tail between our legs. They then get to open the strait on their terms. That's how I read that. This is crazy. Upon signing of this MOU, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days, only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. So again, it was free. So it will be no charge for 60 days. And then after that, they can charge a fee. Again, it was free before that. It's free now, but only for 60 days. And then they can decide to do whatever they want to do after that. I know we are watching the MAGA crash. They are so angry. They don't even know why they're angry, to be honest. They're just like, we're angry. I got to find somebody to yell at. I'm going to yell at Facts today. That's fine. I'm used to it. I'm sure the death threats will crank up. I usually average between 5 and 10 a week. I'm sure that will double or triple today. That's fine. No problem. Again, upon the signing of this MOU, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days, only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and considering the need for removing the technical and military obstacles and demining by the Islamic Republic of Iran will be instated within 30 days. The Islamic Republic of Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration and maritime services in the Strait in discussions with other Persian Gulf with oil states in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. Basically, we're out of the negotiation of who pays what going through the strait. Don't forget, the president early on said, we will decide who goes through the strait. We will be the ones that are charging the fee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Remember the sound bites that I played you guys about how they're not going to get $300 billion. Trump's like, we're not going to invest. It's at $300 billion. Number 6, the United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion in US dollars for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the United States. Again, the first sentence, the United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of Iran.
Mr. President, what do you say to...
One quick second. Let me just make sure I have this soundbite. Hold on. Here you go.
I'm not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something, or if somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran.
So here's the thing about this, right? That soundbite I played was before the terms of the MOU got released and before he signed it. So did no one tell him, or did he just lie about it? Here's the sound again.
We are not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something, or if somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran.
Okay. That's good to know. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page there, sir, because it says right here, the United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion in US dollars for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the USA. Okay. The United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against the Islamic Republic, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions. For example, terminates all sanctions. I fucking hate sanctions. I think they're just really poor policy. I think it's lazy foreign policy. So I think that's kind of a good thing. I think, I just don't like sanctions in general. Just think they're kind of ridiculous because they can just be manipulated and changed, and they're really not enforced in many cases. But isn't it interesting though? So not only are they going to get $25 billion of their frozen assets, not only are they going to get heavy investments from the Gulf Coalition of Gulf states with U.S. dollars, including U.S. investors. Hello, Jared Kushner. Hello, Steve Witkoff. We'll play that sound again. But they're also going to have any and all sanctions, not just those imposed by the United States. All, even including UN sanctions. That statement again. The United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions. Any and all sanctions against Iran. Keep in mind, conservative politics and those people who are warmongers have been saying the Iran is the number one state sponsor of terror. If you believe that, and we've heard them all talk about sanction this, sanction that, sanction this, sanction that. We've heard them talk about it. So as part of this deal, there are no more sanctions. Does that, MAGA, do you like this picture? I did this for you guys. Do you like that? Mommy's all right. Daddy's all right. They just seem a little bit weird. Okay. IAEA Board of Governors, the International Atomic Energy Administration, Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed-upon schedule as part of the final deal. The Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issued above and express their intentions to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. This is a full-blown, any and all sanctions. Okay. Of course Russia's celebrating. So is China. Of course they are. They're all like, look at how weak the U.S. is. This is ridiculous. All right. The Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not produce or develop nuclear weapons. That was in the JCPOA. Almost verbatim. The language is almost verbatim. That was the deal. Okay? Gotta turn the fan on. It's a little stuffy in here. Again, the Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms. That's a really interesting line that they put in there. I think that is a shot across the bow, figuratively and literally. The Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. Words matter. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpile-enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with a minimum methodology to be downblending on site under the supervision of the IAEA. Downblending is when you combine spent uranium, and I think it basically just changes it from any chance for it to be a weapons grade down to like blending it, like you literally just you dilute it for lack of a better term. Part of the JCPOA was any of that residue and or waste or nuclear dust, as they called it, was shipped out of the country. Now they can just do it themselves. This gets worse and worse and worse every time we go through this. I don't know how you can be objective, how you can't look at this as Iran getting literally everything that they wanted. They now get to charge a fee after 60 days through the Strait. All sanctions are released. They get to wave the flag that the United States gave into us. They're getting a $300 billion investment to repair their country that was damaged by Gulf Coast states, Israel, and the United States. And they make the United States president look like an absolute fucking fool. Volume's low? Is it really? I don't think so. I think we're good. Let me just check. Are we having tech issues again? Hopefully not. Okay. I think we're good. All right, good. I'm wrong? What am I wrong about? Hold on a second. Who said that? Billy. I'm just going to send you an invite. I'm just curious. I'm just reading the language of the MOU, Billy. Now, take my invitation. It's okay. I don't bite. I only nibble. I promise. It won't hurt. Although, unless you like that shit, then we could do that. We can have that conversation too, because we don't kink shame. I'm just wondering, Billy, what I'm wrong about. I'm literally reading the terms of the MOU, and we're comparing it to what the JCPOA was. I know it's got to be a tough day for you. I understand. I understand that it's got to be a really, really tough day for you. But listen, I can give you some gentle parenting. We can get through this together. We can embrace the moment, and we can help you. We'll take the political compass test, and you realize that perhaps you're not in the cult. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Again, the Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. The final deal I'm sorry, let me just read this paragraph again. The U.S. and the Islamic Republic have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpile enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with a minimum methodology to be downblending on site under the supervision of the IAEA. The two parties also agreed to discuss the issue of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs, based on a satisfactory framework being agreed upon in the final deal. The final deal will confirm the provisions of this paragraph. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran acknowledge that the critical importance of the nuclear issues above mentioned and express their intention to immediately address these issues in the negotiation in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. Okay. Okay. Pending the final deal, the U.S. and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program. And the United States of America will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. What? What? Keep in mind, the JCPOA, 3.67 cap on enrichment. And it was working. So, MAGA, I want you to listen to this sentence again. It's important. I'll go slow. Pending the final deal, the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and the United States will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. Could you wave the white flag any more than that? The entire thing has been about, we're not going to let Iran get a nuke. Well, they weren't. Not only their verbal fatwa, but it was part of the initial agreement. Okay? Again, you guys can be mad at me. That's fine. I'm used to it. No problem. No problem. This is the deal that the president literally signed. Art of the Kneel. I love that. The fart of the kneel. That was signed last night. They signed it. He signed it. Status quo means as is. So they are now in a stronger position to develop a nuke than they were before, right during the JCPOA. So what did we get? And I'm not done. There's more to this. What did we get? You want to tell me what we got? Listen, I know you guys are going to be angry today. And boy, there's a few creators on this app that I know must be seething this morning. They must be seething because they don't know how they're going to defend this. All right. The United States of America undertakes that immediately upon the signing of this MOU and until the termination of the sanctions, again, all sanctions, including those imposed by the UN Security Council, the U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, and transportations. It just gets better for Iran. It just gets better. Now we're going to give them waivers so that there's no fees. Look, yeah, here's the checkbook. What else can we do for you? Nice. Again, undertakes that immediately upon signing this MOU and until the termination of sanctions, the U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. That number is around $25 billion. Again, MAGA, here's the sentence. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. MOU is Memorandum of Understanding. Okay. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. That is significantly worse than the terms of the JCPOA, because during the JCPOA, that money was released, but it came through a South Korean bank and a Qatari bank. And there were strict rules as to how much they could get. It was meant to sort of build up their infrastructure, to kind of build up their economy again. This is like, yeah, we'll just give it to you. And not only is it we'll just give it to you, there's not even an outside bank involved. It's the Central Bank of Iran. Like, okay. So the plane that landed and unloaded pallets of cash was just an AI film? Yeah, Jeff. That never happened, Jeff. Good try, though. Jeff, you should pay attention to what's happening now. What about Obama? Obama didn't play it in the cash. What about Obama? Ah! That's what it feels like, Jeff. Okay. I want to read that again. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. So the MOU has been signed. Okay. The United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. My God. The United States of America, this is point 12. The U.S. and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree that an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation of this MOU and the future compliance of the final deal. After signing this MOU and subject to the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 of this MOU and the continuing implementation of these measures, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will start negotiations regarding the final deal exclusively on the other paragraphs. And again, to summarize, the final deal will then be endorsed by a binding United Nations Security Council resolution. Be objective. I'm asking you, chat. Be objective. Okay. Here's the thing, Rafa. I want to just between you and me, boo. If you want to insult me and you want to call me a Karen, when you type "you're a Karen" in the chat, Your would be spelled Y-O-U''RE. It'd be a contraction, 2 words. You are a Karen. So that would be your, not Y-O-U-R, like your goldfish or your fuzzy slippers or your Velcro shoes, right? So if you're going to insult me, at least try to do it right, okay? I'll give you credit if you can get it right. But anyway, so what did we get? What did we get? What did we get out of this? We lost 13 American lives. Gas prices spiked. Global trade shuttered. Allies hate us. What did we get? Absolutely nothing. The families of the service members who lost their lives. What do we get? We got embarrassed. The president of the United States is I don't even know how to describe it. There's not even a word I can think of. Nothing. Nothing. So a couple of little nuggets. I just want to play some moments from that presser because it was an absolute, it was a joke. Now that you've heard the entire thing, here's the president again. This is before the signing.
Maybe $2 trillion worth of damage. So somebody's going to have to help them out. There's no guarantee about helping them out, and could be their neighbors will help them out a little bit. I don't know. But it's a lot of money. Almost nobody has that kind of money. That's the kind of damage that was done. But we're not investing any money. There was a fake story. There was a fake news story that got a man, a person, a good person. JD made a statement. It was a perfect statement. And they reported it in a very strange way. But that's why it's fake news, I guess. So we don't give them money. We don't give them any of that. And what happens is with time, if they behave, if they be a citizen of the world, a reasonable citizen of the world. And I think this group, again, I didn't do this for regime change, but I think this group is regime change. I mean, hey, the first group is dead. One little morning, having breakfast, the whole group, they thought they'd never be caught because we never bombed during breakfast, but we bombed. And they all, 88 people, and I'm not proud of that at all, but the second group came in and they were very unreasonable too. And they were all gone. They were all gone. And then the third group, we've been dealing with them. Couple left this planet, but we've been dealing with them. And again, they've been fine. I mean, I've had a lot easier. I've had some easier ones. They're tough, they're smart.
What? What? I'm sorry, what?
We did $1.5 trillion, maybe $2 trillion worth of damage. So somebody's going to have to help them out.
We did $1.5 trillion, perhaps $2 trillion worth of damage, and somebody's going to have to help them out?
There's no guarantee about helping them out, and could be their neighbors will help them out a little bit. I don't know. But it's a lot of money. Almost nobody has that kind of money. That's the kind of damage that was done. But we're not investing any money. There was a fake story. There was a fake news story that got a man, a person, a good person. JD made a statement. It was a perfect statement. And they reported it in a very strange way. But that's why it's fake news, I guess. So we don't give them money. We don't give them any of that. And what happens is with time, if they behave, if they be a citizen of the world, a reasonable citizen of the world. And I think this group, again, I didn't do this for regime change, but I think this group is regime change. I mean, hey, the first group is dead. One little morning, having breakfast, the whole group, they thought they'd never be caught because we never bombed during breakfast, but we bombed. And they all, 88 people, and I'm not proud of that at all, but the second group came in and they were very unreasonable too. And they were all gone. They're all gone. And then the third group, we've been dealing with them. Couple left this planet, but we've been dealing with them. And again, they've been fine. I mean, I've had a lot easier. I've had some easier ones. They're tough. They're smart.
Kyle, you said you're horrible at editing to make your points. That wasn't an edit, my guy. That was a stream of consciousness for your president. Kyle, I know it's got to be a rough morning. Did you have your Mapo? I know you don't like pulp in your orange juice because you told me that when you left me the note on the bedside table. You said, can I not have pulp in my orange juice? Did my best for you, Kyle. I'm sorry his day's gotten off to such a rough start, but it's not editing, my guy. That's the president of the United States. Confabulation, a sign of early stages. You can't process things, so you run down multiple rabbit holes. You can call it the weave if you want to, but I won't. Okay, a few more other things related to that presser. Here's another little snippet. I want to get through these so we can move on to some other stuff because we have to talk about the ballroom. That's wild. We're also going to talk about a lawsuit in the thought police in Minnesota. That's a wild story.
It's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head. If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
Oh.
Okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include?
But nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars, but he gave him $1.7 billion in cash, green cash from banks, into a Boeing 757 and flew it into Iran.
No.
And they stood at the plane. I have pictures of it. Like, oh my, look at this money he's giving us.
No, you don't.
He tried to bribe his way out. I didn't do that. Nobody mentions that. $1.7 billion and hundreds of millions of dollars. They tried to bribe their way out of it. And you know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Oh, Gregory just made a really good point. One of the terms about the MOU. Now, I'm not exactly sure the timing of that, but one of the terms of the MOU, let's see here. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and to refrain from interfering in each other's international affairs. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum 60 days with extendable mutual consent. The United States and the Islamic Republic and their allies in the current war, by signing this MOU, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. He literally broke the first paragraph of said deal. Here it is again. Let's see. Let me just play it again. Here you go.
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
When do you expect the word?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
What do you know?
Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include?
But nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars, but he gave him $1.7 billion in cash, green cash from banks, into a Boeing 757 and flew it into Iran.
No.
And they stood at the plane. I have pictures of it, like, oh my, look at this money he's giving us. He tried to bribe his way out. I didn't do that. Nobody mentions that. 1.7 billion and hundreds of millions of dollars. They tried to bribe their way out of it. And you know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Just to be clear, to reiterate, the $1.7 billion that was released as part of the JCPOA was funneled, I think it started in a South Korean bank, funneled through a Qatari bank. And there were specific requirements as to what and how the Iranian government could access that money. I think the restrictions were connected to humanitarian, infrastructure redevelopment, things like that. So it was controlled by a bank outside of Iran. In this deal, the United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedure related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of, wait for it, the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States will undertake to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. Now, I know that there's like 3-syllable words in there for some people in the chat this morning. MAGA, man, I'm talking to you. Do you understand what that means? What it means is, I was going to say in layman's terms, but that's complicated as well. What it means is, during the JCPOA, you know, the exceptionally better deal negotiated by the tan suit wearing, handsome as fuck, eloquent statesman Barack Hussein Obama, you know, married to a queen, Michelle Obama. You know that guy? Yeah, that guy. The deal that he signed, they got access to money that was already frozen, $1.7 billion, but they had to go through third-party banks to get it. Now, we gave them $25 billion of unfrozen assets, and it sits in their bank, and they can do whatever they want with it. JCPOA had terms that you said you can use this for humanitarian, infrastructure reconstruction, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're going to get access to $300 billion in U.S. dollars through the Gulf State Coalition and the United States so that they can reconstruct. And apparently he feels bad for them because of the $2 trillion in damage that we did to their country. So, thoughts? We're not done. We've got more to cover on this. But I just wanted to, it's really, really important that we don't forget this moment in history. Fake news. Lance, request up. Come on up, Lance. I want to talk to you about it. I would like to know what's fake. Is the memorandum of understanding fake? Because that's what I read to you. That's what was signed. The president just said it himself. It was $1.7 billion that came through the Obama administration, through the JCPOA. It's $25 billion connected to the Trump administration. JCPOA, outside bank, Trump deal, whatever the fuck they want to call it. That's internal, meaning the Central Bank of Iran gets access to it, plus the $300 billion. What's fake about that? Yeah, I wouldn't request up either if I were you. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't want to do that either. How embarrassing. Anyway. Okay. I know it's a strong, cold morning. It's a rough morning. I agree. Good morning, Frank. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Good. What's on your mind?
I just come up here I'm a friendly. I just come up here. I was on Harry Ball's live a while ago, and I was telling them about all what you said right now, and they're like, it's not real. Not until he says he's gonna come out. He's gonna come out Friday, and then we'll see what's right. We'll see what's real.
He already signed it though.
But they don't believe shit that's out right now.
Well, he already signed it. He signed it last night. He already signed it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, in France. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the Harry Balls, you know Harry Balls, the live,
I do. Yes.
and he goes, "If that, we none of us know what's on it. None of us knows what's on it. Not until Friday. Not until Friday. But they just like got horses blinders on, man."
So bring back poetry. It's technically not. He didn't sign a deal. He signed what we refer to here is the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. Bring back. That's what he signed in the Palace of Versailles yesterday. That's what I read to you, which was the Memorandum of Understanding. Thanks for jumping in, Frank. I appreciate you, friend. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.
Thank
Be
you,
safe out
sir.
there. You got it. So bring back. I don't know what you're talking about. It's technically not. Didn't sign a deal. He signed the Memorandum of Understanding last night. He was talking about it. He signed it in the Palace of Versailles in France for the G7 summit. So yes, he signed it. Do you not think that that's real? Is that how far we've fallen? That even though we know that he signed it, he's talked about signing it, that's suddenly not real? What? Good morning, Jen. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm peachy.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sadie says hi.
Hi, Sadie.
So I just wanted to say I've been chatting with a few of the medical professionals in the chat because, you know, this chat is the smartest chat on TikTok.
Sure is.
And all of us agree that we have no fucking clue what this guy is saying.
Francis, but is it signed? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did he use the auto pen?
Right.
What I want to know.
Is it really signed or is it signed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's another medical professional that's in the chat, and we both agree that if we were standing at bedside listening to this patient speak, we'd be like, the fuck is he saying?
Totally.
Is there something wrong? Yeah. The confabulation, anybody can notice, he is searching so hard to make sure that everybody understands and believes what he believes to be true in his head. He just
Correct.
keeps talking and talking and talking and talking and talking.
Correct.
And I would walk out of my the room and go to chart and go, the patient is very confused.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just being honest.
I agree. I agree.
It's just so obvious to any medical professional that there's something wrong. It's sad. It's sad. So
I agree.
And what's hypocritical, it's the very hypocritical thing that I always go back to with this is that the cover up with Biden's illness, everybody was covering it up, but it's so clearly obvious that they're covering up something with Trump, but they'll never admit it. So anyways,
they can't.
I just thought I'd give that information.
Yeah, they can't admit it. We know that because his entire sort of persona is this tough guy, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's no way they could ever acknowledge his failing health. He looks really bad. And that confabulation. Can you just explain to people what you mean by confabulation, Jen?
Yeah. So confabulation is the idea that they believe that something is true. So in order to do that, you have to continue to talk and make things up so that you're convinced that the other person believes what you believe to be true in your head. And you can tell that he's doing it because he keeps going back and adding in these details and they're not true. But if he says them, he wants you make sure that you believe what is going on in his head is you believe it. That is confabulation.
That is correct. That is correct. Thank you for that, friend. I appreciate you as always.
I love ya.
Love you more. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, you can go to the MAGA. I know you guys are desperate. You can literally go to the White House's X account. There's a picture with Marco Rubio standing over the president's shoulder while he signs the modus operandi, the memorandum of understanding, the MOU. He signed it. He signed what I read to you guys. I mean, listen, I know you all are desperate to not believe this, but you can't say it's not technically true because he hasn't signed it. We didn't say he signed the finished deal. What we said he signed was the memorandum of understanding. Who said they wanted to come up? I saw that. Everybody keep tapping. Please don't forget we are crowdfunded here. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all at Factsstillmatter. Ms. Shug, how are you this morning?
Good morning. Hey, I just wanted to come up because, you know, I always watch the news here sometime, and I also watch the news, the state media in Iran and, you know, international news. So what I wanted to report also, since we were talking about this deal, I wanted to report that Iran kind of realized that there is some cognitive decline with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So they brought on some psychiatrists onto their negotiating team to help them change some of the language and how to talk with Trump to help them negotiate a better deal. To kind of close the gap on this agreement. So they also recognize that there is something going on with our president. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
I think you're probably right about that. It's very smart of them. You know, obviously,
Yeah,
yeah. I appreciate that, Ms. Shug. Thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Be safe out there. It's a really good point. I mean, listen, the world is watching, okay? And they know, right? Listen, we don't need to listen to their spin machine. Even the spin machines now, like, what are we doing, sir? Like, what is this? What did we get out of this deal? Find me something. Find me something that they just signed. Now, again, this is where you're going to get the deflection. Well, it's not the final deal. We know that. Well, how do you know it's not the final? We know it's not the final deal. We know that it's a memorandum of understanding, like anything else. Preliminary draft of a contract. It gives you a baseline, right? This is where we're starting from. We are starting from Iran getting everything and then some. like literally, they get access to their frozen assets. They get to control it in their own banks. They don't have to stop development of their nuclear program. They've made the commitment that they already made. They reaffirmed their desire to not pursue a nuclear weapon. No talk about the ballistic missiles. That's not in there. The access to $300 billion. The United States and our partners can't make any more threats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what he signed last night. Not dying from a nuclear bomb for one? What? What? To infinity. Can you please come up? I'm curious as to why you would make that statement. It's really wild, considering they're further along now than they were before. We're at a risk more. We're at a much more significant risk now than we were previously. What part of that do you not understand? Yeah, I wouldn't come up either if I were you. But anyway, it's just it's like we're in this Twilight Zone space now that it doesn't matter that he already signed this agreement. I'll call you Joe. How are you, Joe?
I've been better, but I'm okay, man. You know, I mean, you wake up every day and it's just more crap. It's just more this chaos, man. This pursuit of happiness in the Constitution has just gone to hell. You know, these people are creating as much.
Yeah, that's not in the Constitution, though. That's in the Declaration.
The Declaration. I apologize. You're right. The Declaration. But it's just you know, this chaos that's being created by all these people. It's just hard to believe. Every day you wake up, it's something different. It's we're all fighting against everything, and there's nobody being able, you know, just to enjoy their life. And if you really look at you know, what's really happening. I mean, this guy taking this administration has just been a gift to the entire world, and you can see it on that world stage where he is standing there by himself with his hand in the air. Nobody wants to touch him. He's just an infection. That's it. And I just wanted to break that down, that all these countries are moving ahead of us, moving around us. And just such an example of it right there, where he was standing there by himself. Oh, here I am, you know, and nobody wanted to talk to him. No. And that has been his life since the 1990s in New York. And I don't know why these people put this man in office, but there's a lot of money on the line, because there's nobody that can't look at him and say he doesn't need to be put out to pasture.
I would agree.
That's all.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, Joe. Thanks for jumping in today. Have a good day. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
You got it. Yeah, there's video when the G7 leaders are standing on the stage, and the G7 leaders go one way, and then Trump goes the other way, and then Emmanuel Macron did him a solid, grabbed him by the arm and said, "No, Mr. President, we need to go this way." See, that's why when you make all these statements about Joe Biden's health and how he was in cognitive decline, we know it's projection, because it's literally what we are watching with the president times 10. And you guys won't accept it. Exactly. Come over here, Papa. Exactly. I mean, you won't accept it. And it's elder abuse, in my opinion, that they trot him out there every single day. It's horrible. It is an embarrassment. He is in failing health. He should not be running our country. He doesn't know what's going on. He's lost it. He's lost it. Justice Jarhead. That's a weird take, man. Yeah. Cool. SPLC is racist. Guys are in rough shape. Really, really rough shape. Desperation does this to you. I wouldn't want to have to defend this every day either. Good morning, Carlos. How are you today? Carlos? Carlos, are you there? I guess not. Okay. All right. A few more things on this. To me, I guess really where this breaks down is they will find. Apparently, JD Vance is going to be doing a presser at 11 o'clock. We'll make a decision as to whether or not we want to cover it. I think there might be some things that we should listen to. Obviously, JD Vance is going to be the sacrificial lamb, because I don't think the president likes JD Vance very much. I think the president prefers Marco Rubio. So he doesn't want to put Marco Rubio out there to have to defend this shit. So JD Vance is going to be the sacrificial lamb, which is going to end his political career, in my opinion. If you're considered, vice presidents usually have a pretty good leg up on running for president. They've got the power of the incumbency, so to speak, big war chest, name recognition. Yeah, but you're connected to this administration. And don't forget, on that infamous View interview that he did that we covered, he acknowledged that, this meeting did happen. This behind the scenes meeting did happen so that we could figure out a way to cover up the Epstein files. But again, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. Exactly. He said if it goes wrong, he's going to blame JD. No doubt. It's wild.
If it goes wrong.
Good morning, Melissa. How are you? Melissa going once. Melissa going twice. The progressive in your pocket. Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. What's going on?
Well, listen, we got invaded by the Tottenham. Are we going to get some money?
I'm just gonna talk about that. Yeah, go ahead if you want to.
They actually drank all our beer.
It's
now,
true.
Think about that. Now, we're a mainly Irish area, so we always have plenty of alcohol. They actually drank all our beer.
It's true.
Bars downtown actually ran out of beer. One place went through 55 kegs of beer.
It's true. In 4 days.
It's pretty wild, but it's been great. It's wonderful, and the chance they're coming up with is, I don't know if you saw the Aussie one. The Aussies are yelling, "Aussie boys are on a bender. Donald Trump is a sex offender."
I saw that too. Yes,
that's a pretty good one.
I agree.
So,
yeah,
but I think one thing that hasn't really been brought up is what Iran actually proved was they don't need a nuke. Look what they were able to do against the most powerful military in the world.
Agreed.
with drones and closing up the strait. Look what they brought it to the knees. They got all this money. They don't need a nuke.
Agreed.
They don't need to spend that money. They don't need to. They know what they can do now, and now other countries go, "Oh, look what we can do."
I agree. I completely agree.
And now I heard
economic power.
Yeah, and now I heard Greenland and Cuba want to be attacked, so they can get some nice cold hard cash.
Yeah, seriously.
At this point,
yeah, and some more beer. Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild.
It's ridiculous. I
agree.
mean, how they're trying to spin it is ridiculous. I mean, he surrendered. He completely surrendered. They went to war because Bibi wanted them to go to war. They bombed her. It didn't work. Now we're giving them more money. They're more powerful. They're more radical. Because the IRGC now is more powerful than they were before.
Correct.
They control the country more, but hey, let's spin it, you know?
They will.
But like I said, on the good side, the World Cup has really been a lot of fun. Having all the people here has been incredible. It really is something to see. It's amazing, and it is something to see. And the whole thing, no scotch, no party, is absolutely true.
I agree.
Because these guys are nuts.
I agree.
They are absolutely nuts.
Thank you, brother.
It's been wonderful.
I appreciate you. Be safe
All
out
right,
there.
take care.
Later, kid. Be good.
You too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I'm just going to play our promo real quick. As a reminder, we are crowdfunded. You want to support the channel for the Do Something Tour, please consider donating at Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. We are looking for keynote premium sponsors, somebody who wants to sponsor the tour. Do Something Tour sponsored by X. If you have access to a vehicle that you would like to donate for the tour, it has to be like a Sprinter van or an RV. It's got to be solid. It's got to be obviously roadworthy because it's going to be my home for 2 months. And if you are a photographer and or a video editor, producer, and you'd like to shoot a commercial and do some headshots for our tour for promotional materials, please reach out to me at Steve at Do Something Tour via email. That's Steve at Do Something Tour, or you can message me on TikTok. I'll be right back. Something honest. A lot of people in this country are tired. Not just busy tired. I mean soul tired. Tired of working hard and still feeling like they're falling behind. Tired of watching the news and feeling powerless. Tired of hearing promises every election season and then watching nothing change. And if you've ever felt like your vote doesn't matter, like your voice doesn't count, I want you to know something. You're not alone, and you're not wrong for feeling that way. Because when you feel ignored long enough, you stop believing anyone is listening. And when you stop believing anyone is listening, you stop showing up. But here's what I've learned in my life. The moment that good people stop showing up is the moment the wrong people take over the room. That's why I'm launching something called the Do Something Tour. Not because I think I have the answers, not because I'm here to tell anyone what to think, but because I believe we're losing something precious in this country, and that's our faith in each other. I'm going to travel the country to sit down with people who feel forgotten, people who feel dismissed, people who feel like the system is built for someone else. And I'm going to listen. I want to hear what broke your trust. I want to hear what you've lived through. I want to hear what you wish the people in power actually understood about your life. Because the truth is, democracy is not a speech. It's not a slogan. It's not something that happens once every 4 years. Democracy is people. It's parents trying to keep their kids safe. It's workers trying to keep food on the table. It's communities trying to stay whole. It's people who don't want to be a headline. They just want to be okay. And I know this. If we want change, we can't just hope for it. We have to participate in it. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm not asking you to know every issue. I'm not asking you to trust politicians. I'm asking you to trust your own worth. To remember that your voice matters, even if it's been ignored. To remember that your vote matters, even if it hasn't felt like it has. And to remember that your presence matters, because this country belongs to you, too. So this is my invitation. Come back in, not because the system deserves you, but because your community does. Your kids do. Your future does. This is the Do Something Tour. And if you've ever felt powerless, I want you to hear me clearly. You still have power. So, let's do something. Together. Somebody just made a good comment. 50 Lincoln, the dude is falling out in the Oval Office at 45-degree angle. Looks like someone that took too much Fent. But yeah, nothing to see here. Thank you, Shifty. Somebody just made a great comment. MAGA whined, this is from Wendy in the YouTube chat. MAGA whined that VP Harris didn't do squat for us when she was VP. Silence over Vance having written a book while he has been VP, letting the Trump administration make some fat cash while in office. Go figure. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Yeah, I don't recall Kamala Harris writing a book when she was the vice president. Of course not. Yeah, that didn't happen. So again, here's where we sit, right? So we've got this deal that's not a deal, that's a deal. There's no sound? What do you mean there's no sound? Sure there is. Yeah, there's sound. We good? We're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So I just, this is one of these moments. Like, you know, we should not be celebrating the fact that the president of the United States is an embarrassment. We should not be celebrating that. None of us should be. I feel like this is one of those moments when we have to be like, we have to be better than this. And one of the things that we do, that's part of the Do Something Tour, is to remind people, how did we surrender, Mike? Goodness gracious. We have to be reminding people of the things that really are important, right? Because this, you know, we're not on the doorstep of fascism and authoritarianism. It's here. We function now in a system of authoritarian capitalism. We can see it every single day. And we are the victims in this, right? It's always been marginalized communities. I'll be very, very clear about how a system built by, for, and to protect and benefit people who look like me. We know that. But we've got skin in the game here if we want to change things. And one of the simplest things that we can do is vote. If you want a chance to hold these people accountable, if you want a chance to have them dragged in front of Democratic-led congressional hearings and in the Senate, articles of impeachment overwhelmingly supported by the American people, then you have to vote Democrat in this November's election. You have no choice. No choice. Hey, Val, how's it going?
How's it going?
Good. What's on
kind
your
of
mind?
an important day.
Interesting day. Interesting.
Interesting day. You know, I've been talking about this the last couple of days since we've heard about this deal and what we, you know what I'm saying, and what's been brought forth. And you know, you kind of said something. You said it's not a deal. I'm going to say it is a deal. It's a deal for Iran. Okay, yeah. Iran's made a fantastic deal here. So people understand they can start shipping oil now. Okay, they have the capability to start sending out their products now. They're no longer under any restrictions. Everything's been pulled back from the United States.
Yeah,
they have got a fantastic deal. And if you think for a second that China's not going to take advantage of that right now, they are. They're going to do it as soon as they can.
Of course.
And I also want to remind something about something else, because this is what I believe this is really about. The next thing that you're going to see, and we've already seen it this morning, because we've heard it over and over again as I've been watching the news, the markets are rallying. That's what this was about, people. This was about stock market manipulation yet once again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said something last night that was people should have been taken back from. One, I can't believe he said it, but he did. Hey, if they don't do a nuclear deal in 60 days, we'll just start bombing again.
Yeah. Which is in violation of the MOU.
Right. Like going.
The first paragraph. It's like in the first paragraph. It's like literally the first paragraph of the MOU. You can't be making threats. And so he does it.
Right. I'm like, did he really just say this? Yeah. I'm like going, these are the things that are going on with this president right now that has zero clue. I don't think he even understands what he just said.
No.
You know, these are the things that are happening with this president, and it's coming at a cost to the American people. Let's take the 300 billion and put it aside for a little bit, because we don't know exactly where that's going to come from.
Exactly.
I have a feeling that if it does go through, a lot of it is still going to come from the U.S. and the American taxpayer.
Yeah,
but
directly or indirectly. I agree with you.
Agree or indirectly,
yep.
Right? And let's see what, you know, let's talk about what this has cost us already, because that has now been figured. One, he can't even, his own administration can't even agree with his own DOD. You can call it DOW if you want to. I call it DOD. They claim $29 billion is what this war has cost from the administration. Truth of the matter is, the DOD claims $1.88 billion a day.
A day. Yep.
It's 110 days, folks. I don't know. Pretty simple math to me. That's $206 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is, you know, that's the first problem we have. Harvard has actually now done a study on what this is going to end up costing, the American taxpayer in the end. They have it estimated at a hair over $1 trillion that this war is going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if it quits today.
Like today, exactly. Like everything stops today. Yep.
They have it estimated over $1 trillion. That's direct to the American taxpayer. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is what, you know what I'm saying? This is what Harvard was saying. And after I read what they studied and what they put together, I agree. And anybody that wants to look that up, it's Harvard. It's Harvard Kennedy, which is, if you know, you know. That's those are their statisticians. So,
yeah.
That's, you know. So look this stuff up, people, and what this has actually cost us. And then you had CSNBC that did some stuff off the same study on what it's cost the American family in this deal. To date, $450 per American household.
Add that to the cost of goods already going up. Add that to people losing health insurance.
Right.
Add that to tariffs impacting inflation numbers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, et cetera. This is not, what we watched signed yesterday is one or two things: stock market manipulation.
Yes.
Or the first time that I can remember a complete American surrender.
Two things can be true.
Mm-hmm. That is what we saw signed yesterday.
I agree. I try to be objective. I mean, you know me well enough, Val. I try to be objective on these kinds of things. So I read through the MOU. I'm like, what did we get out of this? The thing I don't think is going to get addressed enough.
Was 9 very interesting to you? Was the 9th point very interesting?
What's the 9th one? Just so I'm clear. What's the 9th?
The 9th one's where it explains. The 9th one, I believe, is where it explains the how they can continue to do business.
Oh yeah, and then
how they could open up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's 10th, 11th, 11th, 12th. I think the 11th one. We're talking about monies. During the JCPOA,
right.
The $1.7 billion, I think it was held in a South Korean bank and then funneled through a Qatari bank.
South Korea had control of it, and South Korea, that bank, and there was a caveat to that, people. The caveat to that $1.7 billion is Iran couldn't use any of that money unless it was for human. How am I trying to put this? Why can't I think this morning? Unless it was for human needs. In other words, it had to be for a need that they had that would help the people of their country. It couldn't be
exactly.
It couldn't be they just, hey, we need to build another boat, or we need to build another army. It had to be used for humanitarian needs.
Exactly.
What it was
very strict rules and guidelines connected to that. Again, funneled by an outside bank, I think through a Qatari bank. Like you literally had to send in the request.
Through a Qatari bank, controlled by South Korea.
Correct, exactly. And now everything, all this $25 billion of frozen assets that gets released gets to go to the central bank of Iran, and they have full access to it. Like,
right?
What?
And there's other things that we're not taking into consideration. I can tell you why the stock market's rallying, because this is going, for people that haven't been keeping up with this has actually put a big hurt on OPEC.
Oh yeah.
Okay. OPEC has taken a hit on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to be one of the people that sit up here. I'm actually okay when OPEC takes a hit.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So OPEC takes a massive hit on this. This is going to bail. This is why I think they are going to get some of the money from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. And I think that's going to be because it helps bail OPEC out.
Agreed.
And you know, these are the things that I can't believe I'm seeing. The United States is actually bailing OPEC out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, OPEC and the Trump statement about how we've done $2 trillion worth of damage to Iran and we need to help them. What?
Mm-hmm.
What? What?
I mean, take the human cost. Don't forget the over. What is it? Almost 500 soldiers either unalived or injured. These are American costs, and they're going to be costs we pay for a long time.
Correct. I agree. Thanks for jumping in. It's good to hear from you again, sir. And by the way,
No
I was just
problem.
given some
Good to see you
clear instructions that you need to follow Kristen back, or she's going to take issues with that, sir. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Good to talk to you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. So, I mean, he's right. I mean, he's right. This is one of those moments where we don't, none of us should want this. Like I want our presidents to be successful. We all should want that, right? That's why it was so difficult for MAGA to celebrate the amazing legislation that was passed during the Biden administration, because you can't be objective. That's the problem. You hear Trump talking about infrastructure investments. He never got it done. Joe Biden signs a massive infrastructure bill, right? Massive, massive, massive infrastructure bill that benefits everybody. And you can't celebrate that. The PACT Act to help veterans, you can't celebrate that. Chips and Science Act, not only did it boost manufacturing jobs in our country, it also we reduced our dependency on Taiwan and China. You can't celebrate that either because you were told not to. Give me good policy, I'll celebrate it. If the Trump administration came out tomorrow and said, we have a plan for universal health care, I'd be like, sign me the fuck up. I want good policy. I want good policy. We don't want our presidents to fail. We don't. I'm not going to sit here and celebrate his failures, because if he fails, we fail. And we failed. We failed. Okay, here we go again. So finally, if you want to insult me, that's totally fine. But if you could get it right, I would appreciate it. So in this case, would be you are lying. And that would be you apostrophe R-E, as in a contraction, where two words are contracted into one, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, lying. Okay? Thanks. But seriously, like, we don't want our presidents to fail. That's not what we're in this for. Because if the president does well, not personally in Trump's case, but from a country's perspective, there's no possible way anybody, and I'm just thinking about some of the creators that, many of the creators that stalk me, a lot of the creators that their little proxies send me death threats because they won't do it themselves, how they have just been cheering this on, right? And what are they going to do now? How are they going to spin this? Because I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what you're going to, I don't know how you can spin your way out of it. Take any one of those points. Take any one of those points and find me a positive. Find me something that we got out of this, because I don't get it. Hold on. All right, got a couple more guests. A few more things we'll get to today. Probably around 10 o'clock. Well, I want to get into Juneteenth. Since, just as a programming note, we're not going to do a show tomorrow. If last week wasn't so busy, I probably would have done a better job planning for tomorrow. But I've just decided to not do a show tomorrow. Instead, I'll do a video in the morning, and I'm going to encourage you guys to follow some amazing Black creators that I'm grateful to have been invited into their communities. And I would encourage you to follow them, go to their lives, sit and listen and learn. So that'll be tomorrow. But today, we're going to talk about the origins of Juneteenth. We're going to talk about something that I learned yesterday again about flag representation and colors and what they mean. We'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm going to bring up our guests. We've got a few more things.
Hi, sister. Hi, brother.
Okay.
5 minutes,
Okay.
bro. We love you, King.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry I can't do it, bro. I'm trying to be consistent. All right. So a few other things I wanted to get to. Yes. To answer your question, yes. One of the, speaking of market manipulation, don't forget some of the issues that we heard from our president connected to Jerome Powell was that he was, he should have, too late Powell, too late Powell, too late Powell, too late Powell, too late Powell. And he's now got his new guy, Kevin Warsh, in charge of the Fed. And the Fed made an announcement yesterday that they're not going to lower rates. Funny when the president's new guy, because he's picked the last 2 Fed chairs, how he responds to this when it's his shiny new penny. Here you go.
The Fed decision, they held rates today. Did you see that?
It's all right. Whatever.
And it looks like they might even raise them later this year. It's not clear. Do you have any comment?
It could happen. I mean, it's hard to believe. It just keeps a country down, you know. So it's so unusual. But we have a very good guy over there now, so I'm guided by what he wants. Was this his first time? Yeah, I don't know. I saw a statement. It just came out.
What do you say? It's all right, whatever?
The Fed decision, they held rates today. Did you see that?
It's all right. Whatever.
It's all right. Whatever. I mean, come on. The Fed has a job. At least Kevin Warsh did the right thing. He did the right thing. That's what you're supposed to do to be responsible. He did the right thing. So did Jerome Powell. The president didn't like it. To me, I think the president did not listen. I think the president did not like Jerome Powell for 2 reasons. 1, Jerome Powell did his job. He didn't bend a knee to the president. And 2, the building that he's building, the new Fed building, was better than the White House in a much grander scale. And the president did not like that. Shame on him. Okay. This is what I want to do. I've got a little bit more sound from yesterday's.
We did $1.5 trillion.
Little more sound from the. I forgot about this. So that $300 billion, and I found this clip. I'm like, wasn't there something at these? So there was a while ago, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. Neither of them are government employees, by the way. They are the emissaries. They are there, when I say they are their emissaries, they are the ones that have been involved in a lot of these negotiations. And we have an update from the war in Ukraine, because that has not gone away. The Ukrainians just struck Moscow last night with drones. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Part of the reason that we have to call out this corruption, especially Jared Kushner, is because of the things that they're doing and how they're doing it behind the scenes. 3 examples, right? 3 examples. The first would be the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, of which Steve Witkoff was like in the ear of confidants of Putin, reminding him what to tell the president. Part of the deal was land that Russia took, they would keep, and then there would be these opportunity development zones in eastern Ukraine and western Russia, creating opportunity for people to invest. Who are those people? I think we know. That's number 1. Number 2, similarly in Gaza. And by the way, I was on a panel last night with Lisa and with Stacey interviewing Anthony running for Congress, and the work that he's done in Gaza to expose some of the things that we were listening to were just absolutely horrible. There's no doubt that it's a G-side. Absolutely no doubt of what we saw there and what we are still seeing there. Ultimately, to turn it into another development zone, of which Jared Kushner has been one of the negotiators. Okay, one of the negotiators. And now number 3, this reconstruction project funded by whom? Likely us, giving access to reconstruction and development in Iran, the $2.5 trillion of damage that we've done, the president told us. And who benefits? The same people. So the 2 of them were interviewed by Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes a few weeks. This is last year. So I just don't want this to go away. So here's that sound.
Question, Leslie, who's going to award contracts? The answer is there's a board of peace, and we're going to be very, very focused and fastidious about having the best talent there. We're already talking to contractors from all of the Middle Eastern countries because we think there has to be support from them, and they know the market in the best way.
Will it be transparent?
everything's transparent that we do. Yes.
You can't replace a corrupt government with another corrupt government. The reason why, again, and this is an impossible thing to do, but Steve and I and President Trump are always aiming to try and accomplish impossible but rational things. So the goal here is to set up a transparent, good government. This can be very, very difficult to do, but we're in the very early phases of trying to accomplish that.
You can't replace a corrupt government with another corrupt government. Thank you for telling on yourself, Jared Kushner. The Board of Peace, of which the President of the United States is like the permanent chairperson, they're the ones that get to determine who gets the contracts? Are you kidding me? Do you see when we talk about the levels of corruption that just don't get reported on enough because people are unwilling? You know, a lot of people don't have a 4-hour show to be able to unpack this kind of shit. That's why we try to connect the dots for you guys. I mean, they talk about development zones. There's one eventually there'll be one in Western Russia and Eastern Ukraine. Who's going to get access? Shocker. Gaza, who's going to get access? Shocker. Now the Middle East? Shocker. And Val's right. This is about market manipulation. We got nothing. Got nothing out of this deal. American taxpayers flipping the bill. The Department of Defense asking for a 43% increase to their budget. Who benefits? The military-industrial complex. The Trump family has now sits on the board of a lot of countries who will take advantage of that, including a drone company, right? They ripped the contract away from, I think it was a Chinese drone company, and they gave it just coincidentally to a company that Don Jr. sits on the board of, like 3 days after he got that board seat. They signed this $100 million contract with the Department of Defense to provide drones. Really? But what about Biden? But Hunter's cock? But artwork? Really? I mean, you'll never see it. Many of you won't. Some of you will, but most of you won't. You will find a way to try to justify this because this is what cult behavior is. All we're asking for is to be consistent. Like, if you want to criticize the Biden administration for corruption, we can talk about nepotism. I can't stand it. If you want to say that looks weird, then sure, say it. We can talk about it. That looks weird. No doubt about it. But you cannot ignore what is happening right in front of you. I know everything they accuse Hunter of. We've seen videos of Don Jr. reaching into his pocket, rubbing of the gums. If you know, you know. There's a viral video that's circulating now of a little pouch at the UFC event. Goes into his pocket, opens up the little pouch. I mean, listen, drug addiction's a serious thing. I hope he gets help. I really do. That's the empath in me. I'd love for anybody in this situation. I'd love for the most bright red MAGA hat wearing person to have access to healthcare, especially if you're suffering with addiction. I mean, how much more? What more do you need to see? What more do you need to see than the President of the United States threw up the white flag? Now, I will say this, okay? I will say this. Did he even know? Did he even know? Did he even know that the lie that he told about how we're not giving them access to money while the memorandum of understanding was being written that he signed? Did he not know that? It's a very strong possibility. So they stretched this out, they being the puppet masters behind him, Stephen Miller in particular. We've got this. The market's capping now. We're all making tens of millions of dollars. High five. The military-industrial complex is set. We've got Saudi oil money, part of the reinvestment. We'll invest in that. We'll help them grow. We're going to bail out OPEC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now's the time, after we've already lost 13 lives, hundreds, thousands of civilians. Okay. This little sounder,
the Iranians,
is going to explain a lot. President was asked another question yesterday about the situation early on, the early days of the war, about the school. It's a simple question he was asked. Here you go.
Whether you will hold anyone in your administration accountable for the strike on a school that killed more than 100 children on the first day of the war?
No, if it was a fault, and as you know, that's under investigation. It's such a strange question to be asked at this state, because you're talking about a long time ago, but nobody did that on purpose. I guess you'd have to say about them, what about the thousands of soldiers that they blew up when they opened their car door? What about the thousands of people that were killed by Iran? No, mistakes are made. War is nasty, but I know it's under investigation, and I could have a report for you tomorrow. Or I would ask Pete Hegseth that question because they have it under investigation.
Do they? Here's the quote. It's such a strange question to be asked at this stage. You're talking about a long time ago. Nobody did that on purpose. He told reporters at the G7 press conference, mistakes are made, war is nasty, but I know it's under investigation. I'll defer to Pete. Keep in mind, MAGA, I want you to really understand this. That's another reference to war the president made. And in the MOU, which is the Memorandum of Understanding that has been signed by the president, it references war 3 times in the first paragraph. So how could it not be a war if the president's signature on the document that references war? Explain that to me. Again, just briefly, real quick, for MAGA in the chat, I want you to hear this. This is the first paragraph of the MOU. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this MOU, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. Signed, sealed, delivered. Enough. Okay? Enough. Exactly. And signing it in Versailles. That is just wild work. Wild work. All right. I have to do something for the daughter. Hang on one second, you guys. Hairbrush emergency. Let me be girl dad for just a second. I'll play this little PSA, and I'll be right back.
TikTok. It is our intention during these live broadcasts to only provide fact-based information to the absolute best of our ability. We strive to never spread misinformation or to platform those that do. Opinions of our guests or commenters are theirs and theirs alone and do not reflect those of the host. Hate speech is not allowed, and we are diligent about policing it. This platform is for educational purposes only. We now return you to our regularly scheduled pandemonium, already in progress.
Dance break. Girl dad did his thing. Hang on a second. Let me just respond to this. Okay, got it. All right, problem solved. But again, like, you know, here we sit with every single talking point that the right has tried to use to defend these actions. It's not a war. It is a war. It's to take out their nuclear program. Well, guess what? It's not even addressed. They can literally go back to doing whatever it was they were doing before. The Obama deal was horrible. No, the Obama deal was the baseline of this, and it's worse. Same thing. He didn't cause inflation. He did. What about Biden, et cetera? I mean, I don't know how we. I'm not going to say I don't know how we're going to convince our friends on the right about, you know, how corrupt their president is, other than we just keep talking about it. It's a massive loss for our country. It's a massive loss. It's a massive loss. It really is, because it's embarrassing. And the rest of the world is finally saying, you're such a loser. You're such an idiot. And it's true. And it's true. All right, Chris mentioned this before, but I think it's kind of funny, so I'm just gonna read the story. The Tartan Army, the Scottish soccer team, is in Boston. All right, so Boston, as we know, is loaded with a bunch of Irish people. Dude, like, fucking whatever, dude. You fucking come to my fucking city, dude. You're going to drink some fucking beer, dude. Like, whatever, dude. The Scotland's Tartan Army, the nation's passionate supporters group, caused an unprecedented beer boom in Boston during the FIFA World Cup, with fans reportedly drinking local bars dry and triggering emergency restocks. From Thursday to Sunday, before Scotland's 1-0 win over Haiti, 1-0, excuse me, the Samuel Adams downtown Boston taproom sold over 3,000 pints of Boston lager, about 4 times its normal 4-day holiday weekend volume. Staff collected 70 empty kegs after the match and had to schedule multiple emergency deliveries to keep up. The bar's 20 beers on tap were largely ignored in favor of the Boston lager. Also, bars that were hit. Hennessy's Bar tripled St. Patrick's Day sales and sold out beer on Sunday. The White Bull Tavern ran out of everything, with Tennent's Lager, Scotland's most popular beer, topping the list. Federal Wine and Spirits sold out of Budweiser and Corona and even had a refrigerator door break from being opened so many times. McBride's co-owner Jennifer Monastesi said they didn't know what to expect, so they stocked up on everything. Tennent's Lager, the flagship of Scotland's Tennent's Brewery, was the most sought-after drink. The brewery sent reinforcements to the U.S. before the tournament, planning since December to ensure pubs could meet demand. They've expanded Tennent's availability from just one Boston area pub to 76 during the World Cup. Beyond beer, the Tartan Army brought a kilted, bagpipe-filled president. There was a massive, massive parade led by the Totten Pipers. Fenway Park was taken over by the Tartan Army because the baseball team fucking sucks. Yes, I said that. So they're there to celebrate their Scottish team, which is fantastic. They were marching to Fenway after the Haiti match and celebrating with the Boston Red Sox. The influx of over 20,000 fans created a festive blue and tartan atmosphere that bar owners described as never seen before. With Scotland set to face Morocco next, Boston Beer Company and Tennent's are preparing extra deliveries to ensure supplies for the upcoming match. The event has become a unique example of how a national sports fan base can transform a city's nightlife and beer culture in a short period of time. Like, come on. That's just such a great story. It's such a great story. I love it. Because if you've ever been to Boston, it's like, it's not a big city. It's like, there's not a lot of room. So to have that many people come in and just do their thing, it was just freaking wild. What am I looking at here? Okay. Thank you. I will. I just love the story. I think it's really cool. And thank you, Chris, for bringing that up. So what fucking wicked piss I do. So actually, and then I saw some of the people that came, they're here for the duration, as long as Scotland's in the cup. They went from Boston to New York, and some of them were interviewed on the street, and most of them said, and I know there's some New Yorkers in here, most of them said that they liked Boston significantly better. I don't know what to tell you. New York's a great city to visit. I mean, it's not my fault your sports teams suck. Congratulations, Knicks. Yankees suck. All right. I wanted to talk about this because the president has gone on a rampage about the ballroom again. So let's talk about that. First, let me thank a few people. Hang on 1 second here. Hang on a second. I got distracted. All right. I wanted to thank everybody. Keep tapping, please. Maybe we can hit 300K before 10. That'd be fantastic. I'd appreciate that, friends. Thank you to Lindsay for your kind contribution. Char, thank you so very much for your 50. That's fantastic. Jordan from yesterday. I don't think I got you yesterday. Also, Rhonda, Stacy. You guys are amazing. So thank you all. Let me adjust our total here. We are now up to, so what's that number? Oh, that's easy. It's a round number. Beautiful. Thank you. Again, if you want to donate, Factsstillmatter, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Thank you. Okay. The president still talking about the ballroom. Now we know obviously that the needle has moved on this entire thing. I've got some reporting from the Washington Post that I'll share with you in a second, but I'll first do this.
The ballroom is coming along fantastically well. It's on time and under budget, unlike the Federal Reserve Building, where Too Late has done a terrible job of cost and time control. And at a much higher quality than I ever promised, including the drone port and all of the other many military elements which are vital for national security that are being built throughout the whole integrated, cohesive project. It is desperately needed and will be very special. The woman that sued me has absolutely no standing to do so. This should not even be a case. It's highly damaging to our country. She is highly litigious. Oh, that's funny. A serial plaintiff, that's funny too, and said she was bothered in her walking by the White House, but didn't state her involvement in numerous places around D.C. Why then is she involved in litigation on other developments in far distant parts of D.C.? Is she walking there too? How is she walking on a totally closed street at the Treasury building? Nobody's allowed to walk there. She never saw a building because there is no building there. President DJT.
Trump said no taxpayer money would be spent on the ballroom. A contractor's invoices show otherwise. An internal cost estimate in March by the project's contractor puts its cost at $600 million, with half coming from taxpayers. 5 months after the demolition of the White House's East Wing, President Trump claimed that the project to construct a massive ballroom and a bunker in its place would cost up to $400 million and that private donors would pay for all of it. This is taxpayer free, he said. We have no taxpayers putting up 10 cents. He told the reporters in the Oval Office on March 31st, describing the project as including bomb shelters, major medical facilities, and now we know drone ports, everything else. But a detailed project summary prepared for the White House by the contractor more than 3 weeks before the Trump's comments estimated the total construction cost at around $600 million, with more than half coming from taxpayers, according to a copy of the contractor estimate obtained by the Washington Post. By the time Trump made his comments in March, the federal government had already approved more than a dozen payments to the contractor overseeing the work, Clark Construction, totaling tens of millions of dollars in public funds, according to a log of contractors' invoices obtained by the Post. Since the first announcing the East Wing project last July, Trump has repeatedly said the price tag would not exceed $400 million and that private donations routed through a nonprofit would cover its entire cost. At other times, he has said that the Secret Service and the military would contribute security enhancements without elaborating on the price of those upgrades. Multiple project summaries provided to the White House by Clark Construction show that internal cost estimates have been significantly higher than administration officials have acknowledged in public comments or in court filings. They also show that the work was projected to rely heavily on taxpayer dollars from the moment it was announced. The White House did not answer questions about the internal cost estimates or taxpayer funding. Now, I was under the impression that this was the most transparent White House ever. Quote, President Trump and generous American patriots are funding the ballroom to the tune of approximately $400 million, which will be a secure and appropriate venue for presidents for generations to come, White House spokesman Davis Ingle wrote in a statement. A spokesperson from McLean, Virginia-based Clark Construction said all project details are confidential and referred questions to the White House. The Post obtained 6 cost estimates for the entire East Wing project dated July 25th to March of this year that show an increasing price tag as well as expected sources of funding. Those records, as well as invoice logs and correspondence, provide the clearest accounting yet of Trump's most ambitious construction project in the nation's capital. The project is deeply unpopular with most Americans, and even some Republican lawmakers have balked at funding it. When the White House first announced the plan to build a ballroom on July 31st, 2025, it said in a news release that contributions from Trump and other Patriot donors would cover the cost of the project, which said would be $200 million. The White House added that the United States Secret Service will provide the necessary security enhancements and modifications. There was no mention of an underground military bunker. The records obtained by the Post show that the administration and Clark worked hand in hand starting last June to determine the scope and cost of the project. White House officials received a preliminary estimate dated July 11, projecting that the construction cost would be approximately $270 million, with over $100 million coming from taxpayers. through the Secret Service and the White House Military Office, the records show. Emails from that time show that administration officials plan to use $3.6 million of Secret Service money to cover initial expenses for site preparation before demolition. A White House lawyer explained in an email to colleagues on July 30th that she had added a line to contract language, quote, to tie the project more closely to security-related issues since U.S. Secret Service is providing the funding. Taxpayer funding. Just to be clear, we believe this edit is important to comply with all fiscal law principles, wrote Caroline C. Hunter, General Counsel in the White House Office of Administration. Hunter did not respond to messages seeking comment. More than $1.6 million in Secret Service funds was also budgeted to cover part of the demolition itself, according to a cost estimate. The U.S. Secret Service did not provide answers to questions before publication of this report. 3 contracting and procurement experts who reviewed the documents at the Post's request said the demolition of the East Wing appeared to fall outside the scope of the Secret Service mission of protecting government leaders. Quote, that's a stretch, said Anthony Costa, a former General Service Administration official who oversaw complex government real estate projects during a career that spanned 4 presidential administrations. How is that something Secret Service should do and fund, he said. Excuse me, on October 22nd, in the same week, Clark began demolishing the East Wing. Trump told reporters that the price tag had risen to $300 million. He said that the military was involved, but the project would be paid for 100% by me and by some friends. However, a project summary dated October 20th, the day the demolition began, shows that Clark expected the full project to cost around $478 million. Taxpayers were expected to fund nearly half of that, the documents show. Speaking at the White House in December, Trump said the cost could reach $400 million. We're donating a building that's approximately $400 million, he said. By March, Clark had informed the White House that the project estimated cost had increased to $600 million. A project summary dated March 5th shows that nearly half of that, $293 million, was expected to come from private sources. The estimate said an additional $155 million would come from the Secret Service, $149 million from the White House Military Office, and $3 million from the executive residence, all sources that are funded by taxpayers. That month, the administration acknowledged that the project included underground security features, including what Trump has described as a hospital. A court issued an injunction in March, pausing construction above ground, but allowing work to continue on the secure underground bunker after a historic preservation group filed a lawsuit arguing that the White House had failed to seek necessary reviews. In April, an alleged would-be assassin attempted to access the White House's Correspondents' Dinner before he was apprehended by law enforcement. Yeah, right. Within days, the administration said that rebuilding the East Wing, including the ballroom, was a national security imperative. Trump and some elected Republicans said a new ballroom could securely host events like Correspondents' Dinners. No. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and others introduced legislation that would have authorized $400 million in spending to upgrade the presidential ballroom and strengthen the White House's security infrastructure. 7 Republicans joined Democrats to block the idea. So, again, $300 million of the $600 million, and this is where MAGA will move the goalpost. In this estimate, $293 million was expected to come from private sources. The rest would come from $155 million would come from the Secret Service, taxpayer funded, $149 million from the White House Military Office, taxpayer funded, and $3 million from the executive residence. All of those sources are taxpayer funded. We told you. We told you. Taxpayer funded UFC event. Taxpayer funded this. Taxpayer funded that. And I'd like to see those private sources. Who are they exactly? Something tells me they're probably the same people that were standing behind him during the inauguration, the same people who are now going to be front and center on these investment zones in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Western Russia, in Iran, etc., etc., etc. But nothing to see here, right? Of course not. Of course not. Nothing to see here. Anyway. Okay. A few other things to get to today. Where am I here? Look at my list. couple more mentions of the president. As we've discussed, he's in failing health. I don't know what he's talking about here, but this is another statement from the G7.
And oil is dropping like it has never dropped before at levels that went in numbers down $7, down $8. They've never seen anything like that.
Sorry.
And oil is dropping like it has never dropped before at levels that went in numbers down $7, down $8. They've never seen anything like that.
What? See, this is the thing. And this is going to be the messaging, right? It's going to go out and tell people that this is like the 17th war that he's stopped, which we know isn't true at all. He is the one who started it, and then he's going to try to take credit for ending it. Is that how it's supposed to work? He's the one that caused gas prices to go up to $4.56. Now they're under $4 again, which is great, but he's the one that caused it. He is going to brag about inflation numbers. I don't expect them to come down anytime soon. I want to say this. There are people in our country that think that if the inflation rate goes down, that prices go down. And I've tried to explain to people, imagine you're driving up a steep hill, right? I don't know where you live, but we have lots of steep hills around us. And it says, steep grade ahead, 7%, whatever that number is. You're going up the hill. Then there's another sign that says grade 5%, which just means it just gets a little less steep as you approach the top. There are people in our country that think when the inflation rate goes from 4.2% to 3.8%, they think that means prices go down. Yeah, I'm dead serious. I have been on panels with those people, and I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? No. That the answer is no. Good morning, friend. How are you?
I'm good, friend. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted, and good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say that Trump sounds like he's on his last breath.
I agree.
I know this is off subject to what you're saying, you know, what you're speaking on today, but it was so evident when you played that video that something, he sounds like he about to fall any day now.
I agree.
And I just, it is sickening as to how they, you know, to a point, I'm not saying this in a way as though like I feel bad for him or anything like that.
I get it.
But this is some sort of elderly abuse.
I get it.
I feel like they, like, you know, like we say, cousins at a day. What's the movie with Vinny, my cousin Vinny?
Yeah.
It is so, you know, it's to the point where it's like embarrassing that they put him up there in front of all those people, and he has the nerve to walk in the room after being overly late saying I'm the boss and things such as that. And it's like, you look a mess, you sound a mess, and these people are literally using him solely for his face to continue this you know, this filth that they're having. And it's just so, I mean, yeah, not at Bernie's. That's the movie. Weekend at Bernie's. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's, you know, I've never been to the point where I've like, I guess being a black woman, I'm never embarrassed of America because I know the capabilities of America. But yesterday, I literally was like, oh my God, he's literally representing us. You know, like it is just, and he can barely breathe. And he, you know, in between these halfway breaths that he was taking, he had the nerve to speak such vile things that he was speaking. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's, if anybody has any common sense, you will feel like, as an American, you will feel like shit today.
Yeah.
You know, like, as an American, I am embarrassed to go anywhere outside of America, just solely after yesterday. And I'm I am so afraid of where we're gonna go after this. I can't lie. I'm afraid because I feel like after this administration is gone, we are going to be back to zero. We're going to, our morale and our stance in the world is going to be very low. And it's kind of like we're picking up scraps and starting from the jump. And I'm just afraid that the enemies that we do have are going to take advantage of that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know, Facts. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just, if Trump, this administration hasn't done anything, it has showed the, to be honest, it shows the front that America has displayed all these years. It shows that we're not a manufacturing country.
Nope.
We don't have the power that we think we have.
Nope.
We can't do anything without other countries. We can't either, you know what I mean? It's like it has showed our hands. We have showed our cards, if that makes sense. If we had anything that we were trying to keep from other countries or other enemies, we have showed our cards. And that's just something that exactly we are now exposed. And I just feel like someone is bound to take advantage of this after this administration, and I feel like it was done on purpose. I feel like him being in this office was to show our cards, to show the weakness of America. Why wouldn't Russia want America here? Why wouldn't why wouldn't Russia want Trump in office? Why wouldn't China want Trump in office?
Of course.
If anything, if me and Russia, or if I'm China and Russia and we're friends, and we know that we can get this dumb fool in office to get what we want, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And then we have a middleman, Elon Musk, who has businesses in China. So that's also a liaison of some sort, if I'm making sense. And things such as that. I really feel like this is an operation of Russia and China. And they put Trump as the face and built whatever team around to put him in this place to benefit them. Yeah, I maybe I'm thinking a little too deep, but
No, you're
I
not.
feel like,
You're right.
okay, I just feel like Russia and China both are friends, and then Trump comes in, wants to be friends with them. He has the power. I mean, all the power in the world. It's like, of course we're going to be your friend. Of course I'm going to rub your back. Of course I'm going to be whatever you want me to be, because I need you in this place to get what I need. And this is, I mean, it's so obvious. And this just what came to my mind, and I just had to speak it and just be like, what the fuck? Exactly. He's a Russian asset. I really, really, really feel like that. I feel like at the end of all of this that goes, when the investigation does start and this administration is gone, it's going to be showed that China and Russia is I don't know, I want to say they're the puppet masters. I think,
and Israel. And Israel.
And Israel, correct. And Israel, correct. I agree. But I do feel like these other countries, our enemies are our puppet masters right now.
Agreed.
I think we're so used to thinking about like the Bessets and the Hegseths and all of that, but I think it's deeper than that. I don't think they have a say, to be honest. I think they're maneuvering every time Trump speaks with Putin, every time Trump speaks with the guy from China and Israel, he comes back with another thing to where his administration is not even aware of. They don't even know what the fuck going on.
They're all exposed.
So that's what makes me feel, and that's what makes me feel like Israel, Russia, and China has a lot to do, and they are literally the puppet masters that are maneuvering what's going on in this country. And I feel like that's the biggest thing we did not want to happen, and it's happening.
Somebody just said this in the chat about this. Why do you think he doesn't want his tax returns? Why do you think he doesn't want to be audited? Why do you think he wants the Treasury Department to protect him? I mean, obviously. I mean, it's if you're transparent and you've got nothing to hide, then you wouldn't make it an issue. You wouldn't make it an issue. I agree.
And I think I'm sorry. One more thing I wanted to say. That $300 billion. I wanted to say that $300 billion as well. I feel like some of that money is going to go to China. Some of that money is going to go to Russia.
Sure. Of course. Follow the money.
There's no Yeah, because they are allies of Iran.
Agreed.
So it just, in my mind, it's like, we're giving money to China and to Russia. I don't care. I don't care how you put it. You're giving an ally or someone that is being supported by Russia and China. Not only are you giving them the 24 billion that was, theirs, you're also giving them billions of more dollars that a reparation, as far as I'm concerned, of some sort for them to rebuild. And we are the ducks paying for this. We're the bank.
Correct.
We are the bank. What we pay, what we go to work every day, he's just using our money to do what he wants to do. And I feel like, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, you should feel used. You should feel like someone just rammed you with no lube, because he's using our money to pay our enemies. I'm gonna say this even as with veterans. I'm not a veteran, but I have veterans in my family. You guys, every day you guys go to work, you guys go in that meeting and they talk about China. What we need to do when it comes to China, how we need to do this and that because China. But then we turn around and we pay China?
Yeah, exactly. Or we say nice things about them. You bring investors with you. You bring investors with you. You bring, you bring CEOs and chairpersons of companies with you on your trip to Beijing. Yeah.
If I've been a veteran all my life, and my whole career has been China, and I see the president who basically I work for speak kind things on people that I have been trained to destroy.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you for being here. And again,
No problem.
hopefully
I appreciate you.
Hopefully you're enjoying the little behind the scenes in our little Facts family. We're so glad that you're here and part of our family. I appreciate you, friend. It's very, very much. You have a good day.
Yes.
Be safe out
Love
there.
you guys.
I love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I mean, no notes, right? And I found this little clip because I'm trying to frame this as to how much, since we mentioned Elon, he's been able to benefit from the tax breaks of this administration, hasn't paid federal taxes on SpaceX and Tesla. We know all that. This creator, his name is that Nick Powers guy. He did a really interesting breakdown of what $1.3 trillion in wealth really means. Here you go.
Of the United States was 1 grain of rice. Then $64,000.
64,000. What he's doing is to set the premise. The mean income of the United States is $64,000, and he's using 1 grain of rice as the individual. So 1 grain of rice equals $64,000. Here you go.
A year would be about 1/3 of an inch long. Nancy Pelosi's net worth is about a pound of rice. Assuming each grain was $64,000, you could line all of these up and it would reach about 98 feet, or about 3 school buses. Jeff Bezos' net worth is about $248 billion. Now that's a lot of rice. If every single grain of rice equaled $64,000, the net worth of Jeff Bezos would equal about 500 pounds of rice. That's about as much rice as grocery stores typically carry at a time. If you laid each grain of rice down in a line, then all of these grains of rice would equal about 18 miles. That all being said, Elon Musk's net worth now is $1.3 trillion. That is 2,892 pounds of rice. As a reminder, each grain of rice is about $64,000. Elon Musk's net worth in rice weighs about the same as a Honda Civic. If you lined up all of these grains of rice together when each one represents $64,000, that line would be almost 100 miles long. And just as a quick reminder, neither Tesla nor SpaceX has paid any income tax for the year of 2025. The media.
So again, each grain of rice, $64,000, which is the mean income of our country. Elon Musk's his wealth would be 100 miles long in individual grains of rice, and neither Tesla nor SpaceX paid a dime in federal income taxes last year. So when we tell our conservative friends on the right that the rich should pay more, It's a pretty good example of what it is that we're talking about. And somebody made this comment, again, because we have the smartest chat on TikTok. Somebody made this comment. Obviously, it makes perfect sense for Elon Musk to invest in President Trump's campaign as much as he did, right? Because he knows full well that he was going to be able to enrich himself. And that's what he's done at our expense. Meanwhile, there are people in our country that think that, what is the number? $106 a month in SNAP benefits. Don't quote me on that, but you know that that's a bridge too far. Or student loan forgiveness is a bridge too far. Or funding public education is a bridge too far. Or Medicaid and Medicare expenses, entitlements, as they say, is a bridge too far. People know what the cap on Social Security is, right? I think it's $174,000, right? So when we talk about the Social Security cap, as soon as you hit $174,000 in income, you stop contributing to Social Security, right? You stop. That, in many cases, in Elon Musk's case or in some of the richest amongst us, that's within hours of the calendar flipping to the next year. Is it 184.5? Thank you. 184.5. Thank you. 184.5. Okay? So a simple solution would be to raise the cap. Where's the appetite to do that? That legislation has been introduced by Democrats. Every single time Republicans say no. So what do Republicans do instead? They say, well, we got to go after entitlements. They'll never tell you that they're cutting Social Security. What they will do is they'll let the federal match, which is part of the funding that we use to keep the Social Security bucket full. Your taxes fund one portion, and then there's a federal contribution as well. In 2032, let's see, 2032, that's 6 years from now. Okay? Is that right? Yeah. So that's 6 years from now. I will be 64. Okay? That would be the retirement age. I know. I look great for 58. I'm kidding. But that's that people in my generation, right? We've been working our entire lives. So that federal match program will be gone unless they address things. So there's estimates that your SSDI benefit will be 22% less than it is now. For what? So that Elon Musk doesn't have to pay taxes? So the president can avoid being audited? We talk about these things because it's real world impact. It's not about the glitz and glam of a UFC fight. It's not about how cool the president looks on a $250 bill. This is real life fucking shit. This is real life. People are depending on their Social Security. We've all worked our asses off. I've been working since I was 13 years old. Actually, I used to deliver newspapers in my neighborhood. They were dropped off at the bottom of my road. I lived in a dirt road. I would deliver newspapers. I got like $5 for it. I would shovel snow in the winter. I would mow lawns in the summer. I just liked to be able to buy baseball cards when I was young. I wanted to have money to buy my own bike. And most people are that way. Been working our entire fucking lives, right? Entire fucking lives. I left corporate America. I had a really good gig. I was making really good money. I liked the work that I did. I was a C-suiter. I managed a whole bunch of people. I made the decision impulsively, but I made it for the right reasons. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's been a struggle. Having to pay additional $1,000 in insurance monthly. It's not been easy. I don't regret it. It's not about me. I don't regret it. Don't regret it at all. But so many of us have been busting our fucking asses our entire lives. I know the right likes to think that people on the left don't work. We outwork your ass every single day. Just look at blue states. We contribute to the GDP. You don't. We can survive without you. You can't survive without us. And now we know that the Social Security bucket is going to be dry unless they make some changes. And a simple way to do that would be to raise the cap. We shouldn't be extending, making people work longer. It's now like 67, I think, is retirement age for your full benefits. And the conservatives will be like, well, you shouldn't just rely on Social Security. Of course not. But people had to tap into their 401ks and their 403bs and their IRAs because of the situation that we're in. Why? So that the rich people can avoid paying taxes? How about raising the cap to $1 million? You can do it. Is it 70 now for full benefits? I mean, even that is like, what's the cap? Like $2,500 a month for Social Security or something to that effect. I'm not even sure what the number is. Good luck living on that. Good luck. Good luck living on that. It's not fun. It's not It's not laughable. This is real life fucking shit. Real life. Strategic HQ. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I was looking over Lisa Ramillard's daily newsletter that she sends out, and caught up on some of the videos. And I seen that yesterday she did one about the Iran thing that he signed here yesterday.
Yeah.
And this whole thing it's a joke. The whole thing is a joke, man. Like, he's giving Iran $300 billion, but yet he chastised and bullied Obama about releasing a little bit of money to Iran. This is the same party that chastised and bullied Joe Biden in 2023, I believe it was, here when he released money here, but immediately the next day froze it up here because of things that went on. I'm like, this whole memorandum is a sweetheart deal to Iran.
Sure is.
That everything that he's doing was part of the JCPOA. And it's this whole presidency is a comedy show at this point. You have no choice but to laugh and just go crazy at this. It's just this whole freaking presidency here. Like, he sat there and it's like, this is the art of the deal, but this is the best he can do. Like, man, like this freaking president is a clown here. And I don't know what else we could say about it. We've said everything that we could say, and these people are still on this crazy Trump train and stuff like that. It's crazy. And Elon Musk being a trillionaire now, that's fathomable. It would take the next 50 generations of my kids to equal that amount of money. And even then, that's not even promised here. These are the same people that talk about wanting to help homeless veterans and helping the homeless people, but yet they want to hoard their money, while people like you and me are struggling day to day, taking money out of our 401k to be able to pay our property taxes, to be able to survive, or for car repair. I'm like, I've already had to take out of my 401k twice here, once this year and once last year. I'm struggling, man.
Yeah. We get taxed, taxed on it. We get penalized for it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I don't even have money. I'm on vacation this week, by the way, and I don't have money to go out and have an actual vacation. So it's been a staycation. I've been riding my motorcycle around, enjoying the weather out there, making videos about how land doesn't vote, people do, which I've been getting some Trump supporters flexing out on me for that. I've been trolling libs of TikTok lately here as well, so I'm trying to get them to hit me. They actually hit my friend Rhea last year. She's a school teacher in Belvedere, and she made a post on her Facebook, and they basically sent it to the school district and got her suspended for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, no,
Dude,
I know. I appreciate your perspective, friend. You're right. I mean, we watch it. We have to call it out. That's what we try to do here. And the amount of wealth that circulates at the top stays there, and we all suffer. But thanks for jumping in today, bro. Enjoy your time. Joy's resistance. Being on your motorcycle, I'm jealous. It's pouring rain. I was planning on going on mine later today, but that ain't gonna happen. Thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate you very much. Thanks a lot.
Last thing here is that people, we got to get out and vote in November. Bring your friends, bring your family, your coworkers, your neighborhood. Walk around your neighborhood and ask people if they're registered to vote. And if not, help them. That's what I do every day, all day. When I go to Walmart or if I go to the gas station, I have small little conversations with these people. That's what we got to do. We got from now all the way up until November 3rd. And don't wait until November 3rd to vote. Get out there and early vote. In Illinois, early voting starts the 4th week of September here, where I'm going to get people to get out there and vote. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, Facts. Love you, bro.
Appreciate
Take it
you.
easy.
Thanks a lot. See you later. He's right. I mean, this whole thing, this is what Do Something's about, motivating people to be involved in their society, to be involved in their community, make a sandwich for a friend, hold the door for someone too. This is what this is about. It's one of the things that we can do. It's not the only thing. It's one of the things. I truly believe that activism is a muscle that you have to exercise. The more you do it, the easier it is, the more gratifying it is. I don't think people know how rewarding it is to be able to know that you've made a difference in someone else's life. That's what this is about. This is a fight, man. This is a fight. There's 342 million people of us that we're all right here right now. We are here on June the 18th, 2026. we have an assignment. The assignment is we need to participate in democracy. Like I say in my promo, when good people stop showing up, bad people fill the room. And bad people have filled the room because many of us have not shown up. Here's our opportunity. Let's do it now. Okay. Everybody keep tapping, please. We're going to shift gears in a little bit and talk about Juneteenth. Just as a reminder, no show tomorrow. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain it when we get to our Juneteenth conversation. Good morning, Greek. How are you?
Good morning, Steve, and all of the people in the chat. I have two things real quick, though, not long-winded. As far as like Elon Musk being a trillionaire, it's so hard to wrap your head around that. So I turned it into days.
Oh boy, here we go.
1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 11,500 days. 1 trillion seconds is 11,574,000 days. So if you were to turn the seconds on a clock into days and transfer that into money, that's the difference between a millionaire, a billionaire, and a trillionaire. It's absurd. When we have kids going hungry and this guy wants to buy another jet or boat or whatever it is, it's just infuriating. The second thing I had to ask you, because I honestly really don't understand this. I worked for the United States Postal Service for 35 years. So I've paid into Social Security. Post Office put in whatever they put in. How did it become the government is involved and has their hands in that? I don't understand that. Can you explain that?
In the post office specifically?
Well, just in anything. If someone works at a Ford plant or, works somewhere where they pay into Social Security, why does the government have any say over how that is dispersed or what the retirement age should be? I guess I just can't. I don't understand how they got involved. Isn't that between me and the post office? That's our money, right?
It is. Well, so Social Security is funded in a couple of different ways. It's funded by your payroll deductions, which we know, and it's also funded by federal appropriations. So when they talk about investments into, they refer to them as entitlement programs, a lot of that is money is approved by Congress. So it's almost like a match where they contribute to the fund, taxpayers contribute to the fund, and then when you retire, you get access to it. The problem is that the federal funding portion, it will expire in 2032. So the only way that Social Security will be funded from that point forward is through payroll deductions, which is why there's going to be a 22% cut in what people are getting now. Most people can't live on what they already get, never mind what it's going to look like as a 22% cut. So, yeah, right. Erica's right. The government continues to borrow from it and borrow from it and borrow from it and borrow from it.
So they do have some monetary input into Social Security then?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I never understood why the government was involved, but now that makes sense. I don't like it, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and it should make us angry. It's our money. And when I talk about the cap, so the cap is a really important thing, and it's a relatively easy lever that we could fix. $184,500 is the cap, meaning that when you earned up to $184,500 as an employee, you are contributing through your payroll deduction. Once you earn more than $184,500, you're no longer contributing. That's the Social Security cap. So a simple way to refund that program would be to move the cap to say $300,000 or $500,000 or $1 million. So then everyone contributes until they hit that cap. It seems pretty simple, but we get obstructionists from the conservatives and Republicans to keep us from doing that, which is ridiculous.
Well, we always get pushback from them. It's all about them getting richer while the rest of us wonder if our ramen noodles are going to make it till the end of the week.
Exactly right. And God forbid we feed kids. I mean, gosh, that's a bridge too far. Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. And I'm fine, which, I have my pension and my Social Security and all that. But I worry about my neighbors who, they might struggle and they may not let me know. And it's not about me. It's about my friends, my neighbors, people I don't even know. They need They need help, and it's so upside down.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for jumping in today, friend. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Steve. Love you. Bye.
Love you
Let
too.
me go. Wee.
There you go. Thank you. See you later. You know, I don't even think about retirement anymore. I don't even think about it. I just plan. I mean, I've got a lot of things that I want to be doing in the, in the, what do they call them, the golden years. I've got a lot of things I want to be doing, but that's not the way people work their entire lives. I mean, this is the fantasy, right? That people who believe in the Make America Great Again model, because people went to work when they were 18, 19, 20 years old, and they worked for the same company for 30 years, 40 years. They retired with benefits. They retired with a pension. They might have gotten a gold watch. They're set up. So everybody seems to think that that's the way it can be and should be. It's just not the way it is, because companies don't necessarily want people on their payroll for that long anymore, for one reason. We know that corporations are reducing hours so they don't have to offer benefits, which is just criminal from my perspective. This is the fight that we're in, and this is why we struggle when conservatives don't understand that. Corporations are the enemy. They're not out to help you. They're not job creators. When I share that with people, like, you're fucking nuts. No, they employ a lot of people, but they're not job creators. Mergers and acquisitions does not create jobs. They look for duplicity, then they cut one, so jobs are being cut. Look at the growth. Jobs come, we can look at sectors. It's always healthcare. And the most recent jobs report had a lot of seasonal work. So you get beyond that, and where are the jobs coming from? They're not coming in manufacturing. They were under Joe Biden. We lost manufacturing jobs under Trump. We've lost family farms. Yeah, I know. Pensions are going to go away. Of course they are. It's not a flex. It drives me crazy. And part of me, again, the empath in me, it shows up when people say, I work 75 hours a week. I'm like, dude, I don't want you to work 75 hours a week. That's not a fucking flex. To do what? I would rather you go to your kid's baseball game or your dance recital or a play or a concert. I'd rather you do that. That should be your mission. Your goal should not be to work 75 hours a week, because that's not a fucking flex. It's just not a flex. Nobody's impressed by that. In fact, we feel sorry for you that you feel like you have to work 75 hours a week. I've been there. I was talking to my oldest on our trip down when I brought him home the other day. And he's like, how many jobs do you think you've had, Dad? I'm like, geez, I can't even count. I've been fortunate to have long runs at a lot of the companies that I had a career with, but I paid my own way through college. I did multiple jobs. I was telling him the story when I first started working in radio. I'll digress for just a second. When I first started working in radio, I had just turned 18. There was a station in Burlington called WICN that I worked at. It was called The Wizard. I loved it. So the job was, you did the overnight. So I did the overnight, which was midnight to 6. I did 39 overnight shifts in a row, 39 straight days of working midnight to 6 while going to school, while driving a limo part-time to pay the bills. So my schedule was I would go from midnight to 6. It was a 45-minute drive down to the station. I worked overnights. I did the midnight to 6 shift. I came back. I grabbed like an hour of sleep. I went to classes. The end of my classes, on a couple of days a week, I drove a limo because my dad had moved to Burlington. He retired. He got bored. So he's like, hey, you want to pick up a couple of extra shifts? I can probably find somebody to give you a couple of limo shifts. That was my life for 39 days. I fucking loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I don't want anybody to have to do that, though. I loved it. It was great. And I never had to do another overnight again. But, those are the breaks. I was making I don't know what it was. This was in 1985, because I was the fall of my freshman year of college. I think I was making $5.75 an hour or $6 an hour. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because that's what I wanted to do. People are telling these stories now for survival. And I paid my own way through school, so that was my choice. But seriously, I mean, it shouldn't be that way. It just shouldn't be that way for everybody. And too many people are surviving that way. And I hate to hear those stories. And again, it's not a flex to be working 75 hours a week. Good morning, friend. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. What's going on?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Look, I just wanted to come make a quick comment. You remember in the 90s when we thought that Baby Bush was the dumbest president we could have ever had.
I miss him.
When he was like, I know, and that's the thing. That is the crazy thing. I remember because I was working at a news station. You know, both of us have the media background, and I remember working at the news station and how we would just be like, this dude, what is wrong with him? He is clueless. And remember, he went after Osama because, you know, he tried to hurt my dad. He tried to, you know, take his dad out and all that.
Yeah.
And we were just like, this guy is a frat boy who was a C student, and he became president. And we were just so shocked, like, how could this happen? And I don't know if you ever saw the stand-up that Cedric the Entertainer did, but he made a comment one time. He was like, George W. Bush, the W stands for what? When? Where? Because he was just so freaking clueless. And it just, and it blows my mind that we are living through this.
Yeah.
And that there was someone who is actually worse than the frat boy who became a president back then. I just wanted to come and say that because I've just been looking at what we've been going through and just all of this ridiculousess. And the people who aren't old enough to know, we really thought that Baby Bush was the worst it could have gotten.
It's true.
And here we are.
It's so true. And I'll take direction from Michelle Obama. They seem like they have a good relationship. Like he brings her like lollipops if they see each other, and they have a good relationship.
Right.
And I think that says a lot. Yeah, he was an idiot. He still is, but not like this. But not like this.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to come and say that a little bit because I was like, wow, we just everything that we're going through. And even, and somebody said something. I remember somebody saying, you remember during the I think it was the Iran-Contra trials and stuff.
Yeah.
And I forgot his name, but he kept saying, I don't recall.
Ollie North.
And then, yes, Ollie North. And then and I'm not speaking against anyone. I'm just saying the parallels that somebody said. And then his health, I think he started to lose his memory or something. You know, his health was failing. And now we look at this person who's in office now who kept talking about Sleepy Joe, kept judging him, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe. And what is this man doing? He is falling asleep.
Correct.
He's falling asleep during these important meetings. And so I just find it just interesting, you know, what this guy has created and what he has said and then the things that he's manifesting in his own presidential journey as he criticized people for one thing and now he's doing the exact same thing, if not worse. But I landed there. That was it. I just wanted to come and say that.
I appreciate you, friend. The days of
appreciate you.
When we fight for normalcy. Like I don't even know what normal is anymore. But I want my politics to be boring again. To be honest, you know. Yeah.
Way too much excitement for us. You know, we Gen Xers, we like to just kind of chill.
I agree with you. Thank you, friend, for being here. Good to see you again. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good
All
one.
right,
Bye.
Right. It's a good point, right? I mean, seriously, we just wouldn't mind a little bit of normalcy. It wouldn't be such a bad thing now, would it? It really wouldn't be so bad. It wouldn't be so bad. Just have a little normalcy. That's why the previous administration, the Biden administration, that's why the right didn't like him, because he wasn't this rock star. He wasn't going out there rattling. He just did his fucking job. Went home, went to bed, got lost at table, teetered around a little bit, just did his job. That's it. Good morning, friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind today?
So first off, I want to say thank you for yesterday night again. Wonderful panel, super powerful.
Sure.
But I came across another, I guess it was a debate, and I don't know if anyone on here is familiar with the show The Boys.
Yeah.
You probably hear about it. It's on Prime, and it's like the superhero show, but I think what a lot of people are missing, and I didn't realize people were missing the point, is it's a political satire.
Oh, yeah.
This idea of Homelander it was created based off of Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the critiques someone said yesterday, which I thought was just so telling of the people we're dealing with, was, but Homelander doesn't look like Trump. What?
Oh, I know.
That's not the point.
Oh, I know.
That's not the point. And I think I'm a special educator. A lot of people know this. For me, it's finding ways to get information to other people that might sink in.
Keep cooking, Queen. I'll be right back. Keep cooking. I'll be right back. You keep doing your thing. I'll be right back.
Of course.
You keep doing your thing. I'll be right back.
Hey, y'all. But I was thinking, like, I think if we really focus on just watching the show, you're not gonna, if you don't understand what's happening in this show, then you're oblivious to the world. And I just thought it was super interesting that, like, I thought it was common knowledge that The Boys was about our current administration and what's happening. So I feel like if anyone hasn't watched it, if anyone hasn't been able to quote unquote get into it, I'm gonna, fair warning, it is pretty there's some graphicness, there's some goriness, but I think it's a really, really eye-opening yet entertaining way to kind of comprehend what we're really living through. And it seems blown out of proportion, but truly, it is very, very eye-opening. But that, it's called The Boys. It's on Amazon Prime. And I wanted to point that out, because after when I heard that yesterday, that someone said, but he doesn't look like Trump, I'm like, are you kidding me?
I know.
Like,
I know.
like, come on.
And I think that's how Trump sees himself in a strange way, and how other people see him, right? It's wild.
And that's what's terrifying.
I know.
It's like, from the outside looking in, that is not good. But we do have Trump, just, I am Homelander. Like, dude, shut up.
I know. It's a good point.
Grow up faster. And by grow up faster, I mean, like, BBO, please. Tired.
Yeah, I know.
But thank you. You have a wonderful
Same to you.
group of people. Being your guest host was kind of scary. I don't know how you do this all day, or how you do this every day. But such wonderful people, and I'm so, 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 so thankful at the end of the day that there is you who does this work.
Thank you for saying that.
Because it brings people together in ways that we just need.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the work that you do. Thanks for being here. I'm sure I'll see you in the TikTok streets again, friend. Come back anytime. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Of course. Sounds good. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Tiff, I'm glad you said that. Big trigger warnings. Big trigger warnings for The Boys. It's pretty graphic. Lots of crazy things in that show. But the point is, it is political satire. No doubt about it. People go into it thinking it's going to be a superhero show, and it's far from that. All right, what I want to do now is I want to make sure I have enough time for this conversation. I mentioned this earlier about how we're not doing a show tomorrow because it's Juneteenth, and I want to have this discussion. And I want to tell you the reason that I decided to not to do it. In hindsight, I wish I had done it in advance. Have reached out to Black creators that I become friends with in this space, and have had, and then just almost turn the panel over to them tomorrow. But there was too much going on, and to do it justice. Hey, Nichelle, and to do it justice, I wanted to make sure that I spent some time today talking about the history. And I see Nichelle in the chat, and I wanted to come up and talk to me because we had a good conversation yesterday. Because I messaged her and I messaged Mia both on TikTok and in Discord. I said, listen, I'm thinking about not doing a show tomorrow. We had a good conversation. I learned a lot. So what I want to kind of do is kind of just go through, and I learned about this flag yesterday, and I'm going to let Nichelle tell the story since she's the one that talked to me about it. We talked about the Pan-Hellenic colors and what that all means and why they're significant. And I think it's important that we have this conversation. So I'm going to just tell you, made some notes, did a little bit of research as to the origins of Juneteenth. So if you guys would just bear with me. The story of Juneteenth begins during the American Civil War on January 1st, 1863. Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation declaring that enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were free. However, the proclamation had an important limitation. It could only be enforced where the Union Army had military control. In areas still controlled by the Confederacy, slavery continued in practice until Union forces arrived. As the war progressed, many slaveholders from southern states moved enslaved people into Texas because it was far from the front lines and relatively isolated from Union military operations. By 1865, Texas had become a refuge for slavery, and approximately 250,000 enslaved people remained there. The significance of that star, which I again learned yesterday from Nichelle. Texas history. On June 19th, 1865, the day Juneteenth commemorates, Union Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas, with approximately 2,000 federal troops. He issued General Order No. 3, which stated, and I quote, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free." The order also announced a new relationship between former enslavers and formerly enslaved people, one of employer and hired laborer rather than master and slave. For many enslaved Texans, this was the first official confirmation that slavery had ended. Some key figures of note. Most names people know, some don't. Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. Did not live to see Juneteenth. He was assassinated on April 1865. His proclamation laid the legal and moral groundwork for emancipation. Gordon Granger, the Union general who delivered General Order No. 3 in Galveston, his arrival is the direct event commemorated by Juneteenth. Frederick Douglass, although not directly involved in Texas, Douglass was one of the most influential abolitionists in American history. He spent decades advocating for emancipation and equal rights for Black Americans. Harriet Tubman helped enslaved people escape through the Underground Railroad, served the Union Army during the Civil War. Opal Lee, often called the grandmother of Juneteenth, spent decades campaigning for federal recognition of Juneteenth. Her efforts helped lead to the holiday becoming a federal holiday in 2021. Andrew Johnson became president after Lincoln's assassination, was the president when Juneteenth occurred, and when the 13th Amendment was ratified. Many people ask, if Lincoln freed the slaves in 1863, why did it take until 1865? The answer is the Emancipation Proclamation depended on military enforcement. In areas where Confederate authorities remained in control, enslavers often ignored it. Even after General Granger's announcement, some slaveholders delayed informing enslaved people until after harvest season, of course. In some cases, freedom was effectively postponed for months. This is one reason Juneteenth became a powerful symbol, not just of legal freedom, but of the struggle to make freedom a reality. Although the Juneteenth marks a pivotal moment, slavery was not formally abolished nationwide until the ratification of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. On December the 6th, 1865, the amendment states, quote, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States." This permanently ended legal slavery throughout the nation. Early Juneteenth celebrations included in Texas in 1866, church services, prayer meetings, community picnics, music and dancing, public readings of the Emancipation Proclamation, and then educational events about Black history. Many Black communities pooled money to purchase land specifically for Juneteenth gathering. One noted example was Emancipation Park, which was purchased by formerly enslaved Texans in 1872 for annual celebrations. Juneteenth celebrations remained important throughout the late 19th century and early 20th century, but declined during the Great Depression, during World War II, during the migration of African Americans to northern cities. The holiday experienced renewed interest during the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s, as activists connected the history of emancipation to ongoing struggles for equal rights. After decades of advocacy, particularly by Opal Lee, the United States Senate unanimously approved Juneteenth legislation. Congress passed the bill in 2021. President Joe Biden signed it into law on June 17, 2021. Juneteenth became the first new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Day was established in 1863. Juneteenth is not the date slavery ended everywhere, nor is it the date the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. Rather, it commemorates the moment when freedom became a practical reality for hundreds of thousands of enslaved people who had remained in bondage despite emancipation having been declared years earlier. For many Americans, it represents the end of chattel slavery in practice, the delayed fulfillment of freedom, the resilience of Black communities, the ongoing effort to extend the promises of liberty and equality for all citizens. The combination of legal emancipation, military enforcement, and community and remembrance is what makes Juneteenth unique in American history. I think I see Nichelle out there. If you want to come up, friend, and you want to talk about it, I'd love to hear from you now, because again, we had a really good conversation, and Mia as well. I reached out to both yesterday. I'm like, and this is what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know. I'll just turn the mic over to my friend. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, chat. Make sure that you guys are sharing and tapping and doing all the things. Thank you so much for that, for reaching out. And I agree, it was a great conversation that we had yesterday. And I just want to thank you for, always putting in the time and the work to educate your listeners about our community. It's very much appreciated. I wanted to say something really quick. Like, if you guys, first of all, when it comes to Juneteenth, you talked about the history. I'm going to talk about the Ben Haith flag.
Please.
That flag behind you. is the Juneteenth flag. A lot of people don't know this. And we're all still learning, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I think it's important to stay curious, right? And I mentioned this on Caress's Live the other day as she was closing out, as we, Juneteenth is tomorrow. It is in Galveston, Texas, was where those proclamations were made. My daughter and I actually will be there tomorrow in Galveston to celebrate Juneteenth. I live in Texas. I'm super excited to go to the historic Menard Park, Emancipation Park, and get involved with all the community activities and things like that. And oftentimes, as you got kind of right above that, the Juneteenth flag, the Panhellenic colors, right? And so that's the red, the black, and the green, and the yellow that you'll typically see representing Juneteenth holidays. And for a long time, it's been like that, and that's fine. I just want to also provide some context here. So Juneteenth is a specifically Black American holiday. I'm going to say that again. This is not to the exclusion of any other, Black community in America, but it just, for historical facts, it is a Black American holiday. Okay, as you mentioned, Galveston, Texas, and that flag, the center of that's the star in the center. That's the Lone Star, and that represents Texas, Galveston, Texas. The 12-point star around it represents Black people, those last slaves that were freed, branching out into all points of America, right? It's meant to be like a kind of a branching out. It's specifically red, white, and blue, not the Panhellenic colors, because it is specifically a Black American holiday, right? Those slaves, you were kind of making the declaration that we too, formally as property, right, weren't counted as human beings. We too are part of this thing called America, and so that's what the colors represent. The arc on the bottom, the red, that's meant to signify the dawn of a new day, a dawn of a new era. So I do see people saying, I don't know what that J Ship is saying. She is wrong. It's for all Americans standing, that everyone is free. Again, this is why education is important. It's not at the exclusion of anybody else. It's just, we talk a lot about this, Steve, about Black history being watered down or whitewashed and things of like that nature. And I think as we go into tomorrow and people are talking about Juneteenth and celebrating Juneteenth and talking about the history of Juneteenth, I think it's important that we understand the roots of where it came from. I was having a conversation with Smitty about this, and he was talking about, what red, white, and blue flags, just in general, can kind of mean to a lot of us now because of what MAGA did. And my kind of response to that was, I totally get that, 1,000%. And again, that's why you'll see a lot of Juneteenth merch and things like that, in the colorways of the Panhellenic colors. But also at the same time, imagine being a slave in 1865 and finding out that the proclamation had been made 2 years ago, and that you are in fact, part of America. So the flag was designed in 1997 by a gentleman named Ben Haith. And so, yeah, I just encourage everybody to kind of look up the flag and its history and what he was trying to, kind of share and display with the flag. And I think it's kind of amazing.
We had a far-reaching conversation yesterday, and thank you again for your time. We talked about FBA. We talked about the origin of this, and I didn't make the symbolism, obviously, as I've learned so much from you as we've had this conversation, and how it's taking ownership of something, like as we've discussed in many cases with the Black community in our country, taking things back, taking ownership of things. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, great point. Thanks for bringing that up. So, a lot of people, and I know Black people in the chat are going to recognize and understand this. The Black community specifically, what we are phenomenal at, okay, is recovering and repurposing what people meant for harm for us. And that's why, again, I bought my Juneteenth t-shirt, Steve. I got it yesterday, and it says, Juneteenth is my Independence Day. I don't celebrate. I don't honor July 4th. Juneteenth is my Independence Day, right? Because that's when the last of the ancestors were freed. But we will repurpose some stuff, okay? During slave times, we were given the scraps of the scraps of the scraps of food. Tossed out, things like just, chitlins, which are, sorry, I don't mean to trigger anybody, but it's pig intestines. Hog maws, all the crappy pieces of food and meat. And black slaves turned that into a culinary, thing. Like we will reclaim some stuff, 1000%. Okay. And so I can imagine Ben Haith looking at, what's been done since 1865 under the banner of, the traditional American flag, and saying, you know what you meant for harm, we're going to flip it and turn it for good, because that's what the black community does. We're going to repurpose what you do. It's the same thing. And listen, there's a lot of controversy, I guess, for some people about it. It's the same thing with the N-word, right? We will repurpose that and turn it into something what you meant for harm. And so that's what we do. And so, people can feel how they want to feel about the red, white, and blue. But again, I can imagine the significance in the colors, and I just thought it was important to point out the nuance of why those colors were chosen.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned to you when we spoke yesterday, I had no idea of the significance. I mean, I think in doing some of the research, I don't even know if I even saw this flag. And if I saw it, I would not have understood the significance. So thank you for the education on that. And I think when you talked to Smitty about it, maybe he was unaware of that too. Did I catch that story right? We talked about so many things yesterday. Was he unaware of? Yeah. So there you go, right?
Yeah. And that's why, listen, and Erica said it perfectly in the chat. She said everyone can respect Juneteenth, but not everybody can claim it.
Right.
I think that's why it's important to make the distinction when we talked about FBA. I don't subscribe to their ideology, but I mean, it was originally supposed to be started about a pain point about the Black American culture being, kind of cosplayed and not respected. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. So I don't subscribe at all to the ideology, because it's kind of morphed into something xenophobic. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm pointing out that the Black American community deserves, recognition and respect as well. And so a lot of people weren't aware of it. And Smitty was telling me that he's doing a speaking engagement for Juneteenth. That's kind of what we were talking about, his speech. And he was kind of laughing, and he sent me the flyer. And sure enough, it's all, the colorway is the Pan-Hellenic colors, right? Typically speaking, when it comes to even like white America, Black people, okay, and that includes the immigrant community as well, we all get grouped into just one big group. Like nobody cares, like, okay, fine, whatever. How many people have seen non-melanated people wearing the kente cloth, right? Not understanding that comes from like the Shanti tribe, or not knowing where that comes from. But they just go, shoo, here you go, all Black things, just group you guys all together, who cares? And sometimes that happens with, Black Americans. We all get swept in. And that all I'm pointing out and encouraging people to do is to understand that there's nuance, and that nuance should be celebrated, right? I want to learn about Nigerian American culture and Ghanaian American culture and South Africans. I want to learn about that just as much as I would hope, people would want to learn about, as you have, Steve, about specifically Black American culture, because we're unique and we're beautiful. A lot of people don't know about Gullah Geechee culture. That's a very specific culture in the Carolinas, right? That they're Black Americans, but they're Gullah Geechee. And so there's so much nuance to all of it. And I thought, wow, it's a perfect time to kind of educate people about Juneteenth, about its American roots, and what that flag means and what it represents.
It's funny, when we spoke yesterday, when I initially reached out to you and said, hey, I'm thinking about not doing a show, and your question was like, why? And so when we had that conversation, like I said, if I had more time to plan, I perhaps would have done something different yesterday, or I should say tomorrow. But I'm glad we're doing it now, and I'm glad that you've provided me an education. As always, I learned so much from you. Is there anything else that you would like to add as we either remember or just in general? It doesn't even have to be about Juneteenth specifically, Nichelle. Just in general.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you for reaching out to me and other Black content creators. I would encourage everybody, I think learning and staying curious is the single most important thing. I mean, I see a lot of people kind of going back and forth in the comments and things like that. I would just ask that you learn about it. Like, there's nothing wrong with learning about the different nuances that make us special. Like, grouping us all together and saying, like the kente cloth is beautiful, but when you're just tossing it on and you don't know its roots or its history, and you inappropriately give credit to a different community, you're stripping away the beauty and the significance of that. It's the same thing with Juneteenth. It is a significant holiday. Can you imagine that the proclamation was made 2 years prior and you didn't find out until afterwards, and what that meant, right? And not realizing, look up what the Pan-Hellenic colors are. Those are important too. Look up what Juneteenth is about and how it's celebrated, the history of Emancipation Park. We're going to be at Menard Park tomorrow, and the roots of Galveston and things like that. I would just encourage people to educate themselves about those things. I think it's important, because when we whitewash it and we group everything together, we lose the important pieces of the nuance, right? And I'm just seeing more and more as books are being banned and things are being kind of whitewashed. And you and I talked about this yesterday, about the simple fact that even Martin Luther King's speeches are being misquoted and taken out of context and used for, gotcha moments and things like that. It's frustrating. It's super frustrating. So there's a beautiful history here. And I'm more than happy to always come up and talk about it. And by the way, as a Black woman who is 1000% pro-Black, I'm still learning as well. So there's nothing wrong with not knowing something or not understanding something. When I learned more about what the flag meant, it almost brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, can you even imagine it? You know what I mean? And what it means. So yeah, my Juneteenth shirt this year is red, white, and blue, to represent and honor the fact that those slaves at that time said, I too, count me too, as part of American history, or the fabric of America, right? And so I'm going to be representing and rocking the red, white, and blue Juneteenth colors, instead of the Pan-Hellenic. So
Texas has,
and there's nothing wrong with the Pan-Hellenic, you guys. I don't want you guys to, if you see it, I don't want you guys knocking people. I'm sorry, see, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
This
good.
is really important, because there's so much meanness on this app, and this is not for anybody to say, oh, Steve has the red, the yellow and the green up there. That's wrong. That's not what this is about. It's all welcome. It's all wonderful. I saw somebody in the chat. Yeah, exactly, Erica. She said she's rocking the Pan-Hellenic colors. Do it. That's not for anybody to shame. This is just a little add-on piece to share, some other information about the holiday that maybe people did not know. So don't shame anybody. Don't do anything. Just say, hey, by the way, as an add-on, did you know that there's actually a Juneteenth flag and these are the colors and this is what it means? Like, this is not to be like shaming anybody. And if you want to celebrate it, I welcome that. I think that's wonderful. I think the more the merrier. But I think, exactly, Erica, the Black American Pride colors. So yeah, so I just wanted to point that out because I saw people kind of nitpicking in the chat. Please don't do that. That's not what this is about.
And I think it's interesting that Texas has such a complicated history. Last Galveston, obviously the significance of the date and how it's now become sort of a hotbed for, obvious examples of racism, et cetera, et cetera. So I know you're a proud Texan. And by the way, friends, I got invited for some food. I mean, I kind of invited myself when I told her I was going to be going through Austin. I sort of invited.
I told you I'd make you some collard greens and some mac and cheese and some potato salad without them raisins. I got you. I got you.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Somebody asked in the chat. Yeah, somebody asked in the chat what to say tomorrow. I just say Happy Juneteenth. And they were saying, what was he said? Honest question. What is good to tell someone to enjoy Juneteenth? I feel happy is wrong. To me, it's a day of celebration. It's called Emancipation Park. That's where we're going to be tomorrow. So I would say it's a celebration. So happy Juneteenth is fine. That's what I would say.
Thank you again for trusting me and for your willingness to help educate me. And I always feel blessed that you come up and join us. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, just thank you and happy new Juneteenth. I'm probably going to make some content tomorrow where I'm really, really excited to go and see Emancipation Park, and we're going to go to some historic churches in the area. Like I said, I've been here in Texas for 16 years and I've been all over, but I've only gone to Galveston to port out for a cruise. So I'm really excited to share that with everybody tomorrow. The name of the group in the Carolinas is Gullah Geechee. I don't want to completely misspell it, but I'm sure if you Google it, it'll correct you. But it's Gullah Geechee, and they have, again, a wonderful, wonderful history as well. So yeah, educate yourself about that. I think that's awesome to talk about. But yeah, just remember that it's a Black American holiday, and you know, we celebrate with cookouts and all the things. And I think Galveston, because that's where it happened, you know, there's going to be parades and fireworks and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm sure I'm going to learn even more about the history. Like you said, Steve, the history, the Black history in Texas is very complicated. And it just breaks my heart to know that they were here for 2 years after the proclamation was made. And knowing that the 12-point star that they said, we're going to branch out. We're going to branch out into all parts of America and stake our claim. It means a lot to me. So thank you for highlighting it and bringing it up and allowing me to share.
I appreciate you, my friend. Be safe out there, okay? I'll be a little bit nervous. I'll admit tomorrow you're out there, but I appreciate you, and please check in. Looking forward to seeing your content. Mad respect, you know that. Absolutely. I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
You too.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
All right, bye. We witness. You know, I think back, and Nichelle and I talked about a lot of things, and I'm so grateful for that conversation about how J.D. Vance goes on The View and he talks about, well, we're not eliminating Black history. I mean, there's just so many examples. I mean, dozens of examples that we've seen from this administration literally wanting to erase Black history. Conversations about Juneteenth, not wanting to celebrate as a federal holiday. You know, removing references to Black history in D.C. and across the country. I mean, it's just there's just so many examples. And, you know, I think as I continue to navigate through my deconstruction from the patriarchy and from white supremacy, you think about that our nation was founded on a combination of white supremacy, the patriarchy, and capitalism. And they're all connected to form this oppression bubble over people who don't look like me. And I hold white America responsible. And I think that the only way we can recognize this and hopefully try to change things is to acknowledge it, right? There were a lot of people that were standing. I think it was a story. I think I heard RGB talking about this yesterday about how Mitt Romney's dad gave up his political career to stand with Martin Luther King during the Civil Rights Act. So there are a lot of people in who look like me that were standing in the fight, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that too. But it doesn't change the fact that the system we have was built by people who look like me, to defend people who look like me, to protect people who look like me. And I want a society that's different. I'm tired of the hatred. I'm tired of the anger. I'm tired of the targeted attacks. Most people who attack marginalized communities don't even know necessarily why they are. They've been scripted to hate people. You know, we are still seeing examples of, Usha Vance hangs books from a tree with ropes. You can unpack that all you want, but we can exactly understand what that's all about, right? So we all have these little microaggressions connected to our speech, the way in which we talk. And I've learned a lot. And I think part of this journey for all of us has got to be the willingness to accept, our gaps, our blind spots. And oh yeah, she did. Yeah. So that's kind of, and again, I'm so grateful to you, Nichelle, for trusting me and for that conversation. So if anybody else wants to come up and talk about this, I'd love to hear. I think I saw Mia in the chat. I saw Jermaine. If you guys want to come up and talk about it, I'm gonna send you an invite, Mia. I reached out to Mia as well, and she also agreed that it was probably the right thing to do, maybe, or to take the day off tomorrow. It's not, I wanted to make sure that I was doing it with the right intention. That's the most important thing to me. So I see Jermaine. I'll bring Jermaine up. I'll bring Recovering back up as well. Good morning, friend. How are you, brother?
Hey, friend. How you doing today?
I'm good, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I did also kind of want to make the point. I know like a lot of people were saying how to address, Black people when it comes to Juneteenth. And it's just simply, hey, happy Juneteenth. I think it's really, I don't think it's something to, quite overthink, but just saying, hey, happy Juneteenth, and stand in solidarity. And also, I think when it comes to the flag, it's, spreading awareness about the flag. More so than just, hey, can I fly this flag up? But I think just spreading awareness and spreading the history behind it to other people about it who may not know, because a lot of people still don't know. And also, I think, you talked about stereotypes, and, one thing I speak of is like, it's the South. Like people to me, when it comes to talking about the South, it's very anti-Blackness, because, oh, the South is behind, the South is this and that. No, it's not. I mean, the South is the reason it is today is because of white supremacy, the question of Reconstruction. That's why these conditions, that's why the South is still what it is today. So I think pushing back on those kind of stereotypes too, especially I hear it a lot when it comes to doing like election season, was it presidential or midterms, and people talking about the South. Oh, well, the South is so behind, the South is this and that. I'm like, no, that's really disrespectful, because that's dismissing the history, that's dismissing the political climate and structure in the South. And we cannot let cities like, oh, well, the Atlanta or Charlotte kind of blind us or deter us from what the whole entire South is, because it's very rural, it's very spaced out, it's very lacking in resources and healthcare intentionally, because it's designed to stop unity. It is designed to stop, Black people from coming together, and also a multinational movements. That's why you have these ICE facilities all spaced out in the country, everywhere, because they don't want people to come together and talk about these things. So I think talking about those things, like, hey, when we talk about the South, we can't just talk about it without understanding the history. Like, see, you look at it today, still, it is still suffering. People look at me crazy when I say we're still suffering from the question of Reconstruction. We're still suffering. We're talking about almost 200 plus years later. We're talking about, people look at me crazy, but I'm serious. Like, from healthcare to infrastructure to everything, we cannot let living in these cities kind of distract us. So even when it comes to Juneteenth, like, yes, we talk about the emancipation, but still understand that the conditions that we still have to face after that, right? So I just wanted to come up that light. So I feel like anybody in the chat, if you see any kind of people talking about the South or this is behind, you got to stop that, call it out, call against it, because it's just missing the history, and it's just missing the oppression that Black people could still continue to face in the South, like you see in Mississippi or Louisiana. We still have plantations literally just for you can go and visit, which I think is really disgusting. Like, if you really think about it, it shouldn't be a tourist spot. It shouldn't be something you just go and, like, I understand this, but no, those were little burial grounds. Violence happened there. Like, people don't understand that is not something. I'm all for paying homage, but we got to pay respect and understanding the South, what it is today, is because of political climate and not us people. So I just wanted to bring that up. Juneteenth tomorrow. So yeah, just say happy Juneteenth and just spread awareness about the flag and continue to push back against any kind of anti-South kind of rhetoric, because again, talking about the South is anti-Blackness. I don't care. I stand on it. I stand firm on it, because it dismisses the history from the revolutionary movement, from civil rights movements, to all these gains that we have fought and our people have fought in the South for centuries, from decades to centuries. So push back against it, speak out against it, especially when it comes to election season, because sometimes it just comes out with people don't mean any harm, but it is very harmful. So I just wanted to say that, my friend. I appreciate you for giving me the space. Michelle, love her so much. She's such an amazing person. And yeah, friend, have a great day.
Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate you, friend. Mia, I'll go to you first. You can stay, Jermaine. It's up to you, or you can drop to your call. Mia,
okay.
It's up. Good morning, friend. How are you?
Great. I saw that I was invited up. Yeah. So I didn't know if I was answering a question.
No, I saw you. I wasn't sure if you wanted to participate. I reached out to you as well yesterday, and I wanted to thank you for your endorsement too.
Yes. Of course. Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll probably be around throughout the day doing some Black liberation lives, some Black culture lives, a lot of things that are Black culture that have been, of course, colonized and whitewashed. So that's something that Blue and I will probably be around doing throughout the day. Not sure the times or anything, but if you see us on, that's probably what we're doing. But yeah, and then when we talk about like patriotism, we also have to understand when you're talking about like those who quote unquote hate America, the people who truly actually hate America are the ones that want to deny America's history. If you want to continue to go by the American exceptionalism and we've never lost a war and all these things and we're these great people, all this, like, we've never done any wrong, that is also very much anti-Black, and you are just coping in mediocrity. And that's not my problem, that's a you problem. However, Black people are the reason why so many things are so fucking great, and dismissing that is just ignorant. But other than that, thank you, Steve, for reaching out, and thank you for being here. You are definitely someone that is very much valued for people who look like me, because you're putting in the work, and even when things are pointed out, like, and that's something that's so very much important, especially now. It's like, it's not an automatic like, what did I do? Like, it's just like, hey, by the way, and that is so very much important. And doing this is very much important because I know it's not performative because you put the work in. But I'm gonna go have some giant pancakes. I love you all. Happy Juneteenth, and hell yeah to Black liberation.
Thank you, Mia. I appreciate you, friend. Recovering.
I'm back. Sorry.
Oh,
I had to come jump in on this. I just wanted to come and say this on this. I just wanted to give this point of view. That tomorrow is a day that, yes, it is a celebration, but it is also a celebration of freedom from just the first stage of Black revolution, if that makes sense. I feel like tomorrow, anybody that's not African American, Black, I feel like you can celebrate tomorrow with us. I feel like that will show a lot of camaraderie for us, because my family and I have been celebrating Juneteenth prior to it becoming a national holiday. We never really celebrated the 4th of July. We always celebrated Juneteenth. We buy fireworks, we cook out. It's like a normal, like how anyone would celebrate the 4th. We bring out pictures. We talk about our family, how far we come. My family, I have a family that my great grandmother is from the Bahamas, and my great grandfather was a part of his family was a part of the slave trade. So that is something that we talk about all the time on Juneteenth as well. We have our okay, Jermaine, we might be cousins.
We might be.
Yeah, so we speak about things like that, about how My family is different. You know, we have a family that my ancestors that came from the Bahamas on a boat in the late 1800s, and we have another set of family that came from chattel slavery. So I have two different types of perspectives when it comes to Black liberation. Um, I just, you know, I feel like I feel like the more people that celebrate with us, the more it can be recognized. Um, no offense to anyone else, but I don't feel like any other culture, any other culture, a set of people that are trying to celebrate with us, I don't believe is performative. I mean, I'm not in the TikTok world, so when it comes to like lives and stuff like that, I'm just speaking on walking outside of my house. If I see my neighbor with a Juneteenth flag, I would be happy. I would be like, oh wow, that's nice. You know what I mean? Like that was sweet. I don't know them like that and nothing like that, but just to know that they have that there, that matters to me. I don't know if it matters to anybody else, but it matters to me. I want to see the flags. I want to see the happy Juneteenths. I want to see it all. I don't know every person in the world, but if I can see a symbolism of that, you representing a holiday that my people had to basically kick, scream, and be killed for, thank you. So that's my point of view of it. I feel like everyone should be able to celebrate. If you want to bring out your grill tomorrow and you're off and you're not a Black person, okay, pull out your grill. You know what I mean? Like, enjoy it with us. Um, it's okay to go up to us and be like, happy Juneteenth, enjoy your day. Or, if you see somebody working tomorrow, be like, why are you working today? You should not be working today. That's okay to say those type of things. It's okay to do those type of things. And I know that, when it comes to people of color and Black people, or white people and Black people, and celebrating the things that we celebrate for us, we are Americans. We've been here. Just like we were forced to celebrate the 4th, you're not forced to celebrate Juneteenth. Just come on over. You know what I mean? Knock on the door. Say happy Juneteenth. Get to know your neighbor, get to know your Black neighbor, your African American neighbor, because it is a difference. Yeah, some of us maybe choose to be left alone, but they don't know. So if that's the case, then you can just kind of be like, oh, thank you, and move on. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to be aggressive with it, or just be like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? And move on with what we're going along with it. I get it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not, I'm the same way. I may not want to be bothered, but I would, I would like to see you represent us. I do. That's my take on it. I may be looked at as differently by my own, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, I'm so tired of being upset about how we're being treated. I'm so upset. I'm so tired and exhausted of the thin line. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like, I'm tired of it. I'm fucking, excuse my friend. I'm sick of it, so.
You don't need to apologize.
So I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. And I'm from the South. I grew up in the South. You know what I mean? I'm not no fool to the South and what it brings and what it has and what it contains. But I just feel like it comes a time where we're going to have to come together. And I feel like, don't be afraid to knock on the door. You know what I mean? If as a Black people, we see a white person at our door and we don't know what the hell going on, don't answer it. You know what I mean? Well, a lot of us got Ring cameras. You know what I mean? Hello, how are you? How are you doing? Oh, I just wanted to come say happy Juneteenth. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have a great day, and leave it at that. You know what I mean? But I just feel, like, it's nothing wrong with celebrating with us. I feel like it'll make a difference. And I feel like it's not a time for us to educate. So that don't mean come celebrate with us and ask all no damn questions. We ain't here to do that. You know what I mean? We're here to have a good time. If you want to know anything, just Google it. But other than that, I mean, come join and enjoy it with us.
I appreciate you saying that. Jermaine, any comments, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I wanted to recovering because my dad is from the Bahamas. He came to Miami when he was 16.
Yeah, my family's from Miami too.
Yeah, he's from Freeport.
Okay.
Came to Miami, met my mom here in Atlanta. So I come from a tale of two different backgrounds, from Black
Yep.
American to the Caribbean. I'm
Yep.
very
Same
proud of
here.
it, and I rep both just as hard as anything. But of
Yep.
course,
Me
I feel
too.
like feel more ingrained in my Black American, my Black American roots. And so I just kind of wanted to like make that because that was my people ancestors that also had loved the slave revolt back then too as well. But also I think like Steve, before I just close out, I think like there's for people saying there's nothing wrong. You have to be proud of what you stand on. Be proud of your solidarity. Be proud of your allyship. Don't feel ashamed for it. Who cares what people think? Because guess what? At the end of the day, you're on the right side of history. The idea is to be on the right side of history. But it's one thing to be on the right side of history, but you have to be proudly on the right side of history, not shamefully, not secretly, not quietly. Because I feel that's dismissive and that's not genuine. So to be proudly, like people who were in the streets doing the people who weren't Black in the streets doing the civil rights movement, for people who weren't Black would kind of help fighting against slave abolitionists like John Brown himself, who was not silent, who was very vocal and very bold. So be proud, be proud, be aggressive in your allyship towards Black solidarity. At the end of the day, like there's nothing to be ashamed of being fighting for the right cause at the end of the day. But my friend, thank you so much.
Wait, Jermaine, I
what's
have
up?
a question.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You say your dad is from Miami?
Well, he's from Bahamas, Freeport. He's from Freeport, but
Okay.
he moved to Miami when he was 16 before moving to Georgia. So yeah.
Okay. Well, my family is from Bimini. They moved to Miami, and I grew up in South Florida. So knowing that your dad grew up in Miami, I was born in Miami too. So now I just got to ask you a question, being that you Bahamian and African American like myself. Are you a person that eat your collard greens with your beans and rice with a comfort on the side?
I do, yes. I have
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
to.
about.
I have to.
With a little
That's the
sauce.
only way to eat it. With a little
Yes, that's the only
sauce.
way to eat it, with the sauce.
With my sweet tea.
Yes,
my sweet,
you got to
tea.
have a sweet tea.
One
Yes,
sip and one sip you at the ER. So sweet.
Come on with
You're
the
both
cornbread.
making me hungry.
Jermaine.
You're both making me
Let
hungry.
me follow you, cousin.
Follow me, cousin.
I just had to bring that because you don't find a lot of people like us, I mean, you back home, you do, it's a lot of Bahamians mixed with, African American, and you have an island half home, and then you have an African American home. So just to have somebody that's the same as me, it was just like, oh my God.
I know,
Like,
that's why I
we
was
might
so
be
excited
cousins,
when you
never
said
know.
that. I was super excited. I was like, oh my goodness, we might be cousins for real.
For real.
A lot of my dad's family is from Miami too, because my dad moved there. So
Yeah.
great. Appreciate it. Look, I like it, Steve, bringing us together.
I
Thank you,
know.
Steve.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Recovering. Thank you both very much
Thank
for
you,
being
Steve.
here.
I appreciate you.
Thank you both for making me really hungry. I appreciate that. No, I don't. Thank you, guys. I love you both.
Have a good one.
See you later. Take care.
Love you
Thanks a
too.
lot. See you later, friend.
Bye.
Appreciate you very much. Yeah, our show, we do things a little different around here. We talk about the news and the way in which we do it. We cover the politics and the way in which we do it. We connect the dots and the way in which we do it. But always at the core of everything we've done around here has been about humanity. That's what this entire thing's been about. It's about how people are being harmed every day. And we are standing, in the breach and as best we can to try to push back against that harm, right? Harm reduction is not just something that I want people to focus on when it comes to election season. I want people to think about that every single day, especially white men of privilege. We are the ones that have created the system. We are the ones that have to push back against it. So I might make you feel uncomfortable. And you know what? I don't give a shit. Because if you can't feel uncomfortable yourself based on what you see around you, right? Then it might take somebody else. So that's my call to action for white men, like every single day. If you truly do care, like if you do have a servant's heart, right? And you do want to help others, then you can't just ignore bad behavior. You can't. You can't just ignore bad behavior when it comes to misogyny or racism or transphobia, whatever that might be. You can't just brush it off as if it's a locker room talk. You just can't. You can't. Because this is not just a fight for who wins the White House. This is a fight for humanity. People's lives are on the line here, right? And we're the ones that have perpetuated the bulk of the violence. We're the ones that participate in it at the largest scale, and we're the ones that have to, push back against it. So if tomorrow or this conversation today, and yes, I'm hungry. If this conversation today is the thing that kind of moves the needle for you, then I hope that's it. Because the Black community in our country has every reason just to tune out and say, I'm fucking done. But nope, still show up. 92% will still be there fighting for rights. Will still be there making sure that society can progress forward, because if their lives are better, especially Black women, if their lives are better, then all of our lives are better. It's just that simple. So I think it's a great spot to end today, friends. I think Smitty might be live. I know he's going. To be speaking. I'll be curious about that event tomorrow. What I'm going to do tomorrow is I'll just do a post in the morning to remind folks we're not going to do a show, and I'm just going to encourage you to follow some creators that I've grown to respect immensely, that I've learned so much from, and I'm grateful that they've allowed me into their spaces as well. So we're going to go raid Smitty. Tell Tom's go raid SoCal Smitty. You'll likely see more of Queen Nichelle on his panel. Mods, thank you. Chat, thank you. We've got a lot of work to do, friends. Like I always say, there's always something to do. So please do something, but do something tomorrow, maybe differently, maybe move differently. And when I always recommend you guys go into Black spaces, I do that and I ask you just to sit and listen, right? That's all I ask you to do. Just go there and sit and listen to learn. You don't even have to put your hand up. You don't have to comment. You don't have to do anything other than support the creators and listen to learn. I appreciate you, friends. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. No, we won't see you tomorrow morning, but you'll see a video from me. You'll probably see me check in over the weekend, and we'll be back Monday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I appreciate you all very much. Have a great day. Be safe out there.
Incorrect. It's structurally inaccurate what he's saying. So when he's comparing Democrats to Republicans, he fundamentally has no idea what he's talking about.
There we go. All right. So what's going on, Facts? Good to see you, bro. Let me let Palpable come in, y'all, real quick. Palpable has been waiting forever. But let's get Palpable's. I know you want to come up and also correct some misinformation. We got some